All right, we are live
Live
from my
from New
backyard.
York. It's
Oh,
Saturday night.
it's side by side.
Ah,
Hey, everybody, how we doing?
oh, hello. Was that to me or was that to everybody?
I don't know. Max and I have been making videos, and he likes to address YouTube as like a community of just this group of people. Like it's not really like people. It's like one person, but it's like, hey, YouTube, and I'm
Hey,
like,
yeah, yeah. No,
I've
no,
been like,
that's.
so now I've been it's rubbing off on me. Like I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, everybody, hi, everybody, it's Doctor
Hi.
Nick. Remember the good old Doctor Nick from
Oh yeah,
that
man.
long running show that
If
I
if
haven't seen?
ever if ever they have a live action Simpsons, I'll petition you to be the
Doctor
Doctor Nick.
Nick.
Yeah, I
I'll
feel
go for
like
it.
you could play that character fantastically. Holding the
The
heart and being like, I don't know what went wrong.
I was like, I put this in upside down. Oh, that's they
That
need
was like
instructions.
that's like the human Dr. Zoidberg,
Oh,
essentially.
Zoidberg. Dude, Zoidberg's funny. He's like, doctors make money. It's just
Yeah.
like,
Oh, my investment of a sandwich.
oh yeah, that's
Like,
right,
oh
dude.
man.
Oh god, dude.
Dude,
Yeah,
so we're about to be getting some new Futurama, I think at the end of this month.
I hope so. Where's it getting? Where's it going?
Hulu.
Hulu, hell yeah, where it belongs. So now that's what we're doing, right? We're just doing these like South Park calls streaming wars.
Bro, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, July 24th. What's crazy though, man, is like Futurama is one that has been canceled, picked up, canceled, picked up. I mean, just like
Resurrected. We won't let it die. We're not
no,
gonna let it
no.
die.
Because and the reason I don't think they let him die, is because, or at least Futurama, is because of the streaming. Like everybody, I feel like that's there for a while. I mean, we would just repeat Futurama until, and then it was like, oh, magically Comedy Central's picking them up, and then they ran for like 3 or 4 seasons. Watch
Yeah, they
those, and
they did
then
the movies. The thing about Futurama, like it is resurrected, and now that you're explaining it, and I remember, like you're right, they used to play it all the time. It was always asking. It was like they were asking to bring it back to life, like bring it
mhm,
back to life. And every time they come, so now I'm also understanding about writing, like in the times and modern time, because like. Dude, when I was writing, I would just write stories. Now I'm like specific. Like Renfield is a good like modern day telling of Dracula, right?
yeah.
So like, and I'm learning that. So
Ooh,
Futurama is always.
there's gonna be another one that looks pretty decent. It's
Oh
like on a boat. Have you seen that one?
no, I read the trivia on it, and it said this
Uh,
there's another one coming out for 2023.
yeah,
We'll get there. You know, side by side, we like to just hang out for a minute
yeah.
until we get our show started.
Sorry,
No,
I didn't want to lose that.
no,
Uh,
but no, I got you. No, with the Futurama though, man, like it's a voice, it's animated, it is funny. Like they're with the times. I don't know. I think it's a geek product. Like we're not gonna let it go.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's what.
and what I think is so interesting too is like the more it gets like canceled and resurrected, you look more into it. It's like the writers on that show have like PhDs in
Yeah,
science and stuff like
they're
that.
smart,
It's wild.
dude.
It's wild.
Like
Uh,
yeah, Harvard grads or something like
mhm,
that.
yeah.
Like the character. Like I've met Billy West. Freaking, he's pretty cool. You just hang out with him a little bit. I took a photo with him. I met him online. I have a video I need to post about that one. But what do you call it? Like the character he created, like Fry, or where they gave him he voiced Fry. Like there's always a Fry in us. There's always like some
Mhm.
people we can relate so well to that character.
Whenever I first turned on my PlayStation, apparently I'd been watching Futurama in here, and it was the episode where they go to like ancient Egypt or whatever, to like that planet
Yeah,
where there's pharaohs and everything, and Fry's over there. The one thing, what I hate about being a slave. You do all this work and they never pay you,
the pay.
and
Yeah.
and they don't pay you, and then Lilo's like, that's the only thing about being a slave.
He's
Like,
like, "Hey, we gotta raise business. Remember we get free delivery. We were booming. We're a delivery service." They really do like Also their old episodes and the new episodes blend really well. It's not like
they
South
do.
Park or Family Guy or Simpsons where it's like Futurama's always been the same
Hmm.
stylistic. Also, side note before I forget this, because we do like the King of the Hills, Mike Judd. That show, Fired from Mars, has a lot of that feel, the anime feel. The Luke Wilson.
I've tried watching it, man. I couldn't get into it.
It's a slow bird. It's artistically slow comedy. Like
And
you have to. I think it's because I'm in that graphic design
mhm.
fucking bubble.
Yeah, and I like the animation style too, because like that, it reminds me of this show called Ugly Americans. I don't know if you.
I need to watch that one. I've seen the
It's
clips.
it was a good one. Actually, it was okay, But I remember when it came on, I was like, okay. It was like right in that era where I was like trying to keep up with Comedy Central, trying to keep up with the times, kind of thing.
Yeah,
And that's what that played. And there's another one that was kind of similar to that. I don't want to say BoJack Horseman, but it's like kind of in the same vein.
I need to watch
But
that one too.
I haven't seen that one. I've heard good things. But yeah, man. Speaking of animation and all that, Nicolas Cage, huh?
Yeah, dude, Nick Cage, bro. I don't know where to begin with these movies. I saw.
Here, can I maybe take lead on this
Go for
just
it,
to
dude.
begin with this?
Do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna bring this in with a little bit of a personal story
Go for it.
about Nick Cage. So back back in the aughts, I was in middle school, right? And I had this theater arts teacher, Mrs. Nault, and she taught all of my brothers and sisters as well. And so I came in. I was a stepchild and all that, but she was like, "Oh, they're brothers and sisters." I taught them. She's a very very sweet lady. Loved her. We had to do an assignment in her class where we focused in on one particular actor, and uh and we did like a presentation on them about what they did and their credentials and all this other stuff. And lo and behold, you know who I picked? Good old Nick Cage.
Nick
All right.
Cage.
And the reason being was, like a year. Well, let's see. I started in 2003. So a couple years earlier, I had seen Gone in 60 Seconds, man. And I fell in love with this movie, man. It was action packed. It was sleek. It was cool. And Nick Cage, I'd seen him in. I think by this point, I'd probably seen Con Air as well, which is a fantastic movie. And actually, how
Joyride, a great Joyride.
yes, and that's actually a fun story. Exactly how Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent opens. It opens up with a Con Air scene, which is phenomenal. But I did this report on him because of God in 60 Seconds, and I found out that his name wasn't Nick Cage. It was Nick Coppola, part of the Coppola family. And yeah, so I've kind of had Nicolas Cage has kind of been there through it all, man. Like I thought he was the coolest dude in the world back in the day, and still do. Not that he ever left. Not
Yeah.
that they ever went anywhere, So, but no, man. These movies just kind of they they show you why Nicolas Cage is such a prominent figure in Hollywood. Like he has talent. He really does. He can. And what I love, I think, and I'm just gonna be right up front and say this too. I think the unbearable weight of massive talent is superior to Renfield. I'm sorry. They were both good, but I think movie wise, I have to go with unbearable weight of massive talent because it's just I love meta movies where they can be themselves or a version of themselves that is just over the top. Like This Is the End. Love that movie. Because you get to have Seth Rogen and James Franco and Danny McBride
Play
at
them,
the end
play
of the world
themselves.
playing themselves and like exaggerated versions of themselves as well. So I really enjoyed that. But yeah, man, oh man, the unbearable weight of massive talent. It's just an all encompassing movie. It's a movie about movies. It's a movie about obviously Nicolas Cage, but not just Nicolas Cage. It's about hyper hyper obsession with a with the celebrity. You have that. It's not something that is unheard of. I mean, Kim Jong Un. He loved Dennis Rodman, so he brought him over. It's
Yeah.
these are not unheard of. I think Sean Penn also went and met with other members of. I can't remember what he went and did, but he
Yeah.
was a liaison for the U.S. or something like that. I think he even did a little bit of spy work for him as well, like Nick Cage does in this movie. Um, But yeah, what what would you say is your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
The first one that pops in my head is Face Off.
Yeah, Con Air
Um,
is gonna be mine.
I'm gonna definitely say that everything you just said, I was like, great, great, great. Like I agree with everything. I'm looking at this as different though. I'm not comparing them like that. I'm looking at it
Yeah.
as, since we go watch the older one first and then the newer one.
Hmm.
I'm watching this. This is the same way like I like when you watch Jay and Silent Bob reboot, when you watch Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, when you watch there's so much like collective like material out there that when you bring it into one movie, it just you just get all the Easter eggs, you get all the love, you just love
Yep.
it. This is such a great movie. And then as I watched this on the plane ride from Austin to L.A., I actually got stuck at the airport for 10 hours because Spirit Airlines canceled my flight. I know,
What?
I get it. I
What?
got there. The flight was supposed to leave at 8 p.m. Arrived to L.A. around 11 p.m. I was supposed to get my Airbnb a little bit before midnight, get on set the next day, do the thing, and come back. What ended up happening was they canceled. They we got there at 8, and they said, "Oh, we're postponing the flight." Because I was supposed to leave at 6 actually, and then they postponed it to 8. So I was like, all right, cool, got extra 2 hours. And then I get there, and as soon as I get there, they postponed it again, and they postponed it again, delay, and then finally at 1:52 they said canceled, and we were like, why did you just barely tell us now? So I
Hmm.
had to like run down, buy a Delta flight, and like it was expensive. I had to like get on it because I wanted to be in the movie, right?
Hmm.
So I do everything, and I'm on the play. I'm on the plane, and I'm watching this movie on this like better aircraft or better plane. It is Delta. It's better. It costs more, but it's nicer. But I'm on this plane. I'm having like a better experience. But just watching this movie and laughing out loud to myself, it's got to be one of the best feelings. That I'm watching a Nick Cage movie about Nick Cage.
Hmm.
And the cool thing is he's actually Nick Cage because he spells his name N-I-C. This is N-I-C-K. So that's why it's like Nick Cage playing Nick Cage. This is all the good Easter eggs. This is all the good movies. This is Nick Cage being Nick Cagey. That's the thing, right? Nick Cage
Hmm.
here. Like I never realized until I started watching more of the YouTube videos or these little like channels of people critique movies and stuff. I didn't realize how much people like pick on his acting.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he's acting.
Yeah.
Like, you honestly think it's Nick? He's doing a job. Like he says, like this is so real that he even says stuff like he's like I can't turn it off.
Hmm.
Like he's just an actor. That's his job, and that's awesome. That like he's known for that. I'm Nick fucking Cage. Like he
That was a
I
little short, CJ.
what? Oh
Fucking,
fucking
dude, he
Cage.
really gets in there.
But do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
But do you think like him like playing himself? Do you think he was like all right, or was he more like let's see how can I because it's hard to play yourself.
Yeah.
Playing yourself in a movie is hard. The two movies I've done this year so far, I kind of played myself because I was a fanboy, and
Hmm.
we'll get to that and because this whole thing's about fanboyism. Like that's how they
Yeah.
get him there,
Hmm.
and he's recognized, and the CIA just picks him up like that. And I doesn't even. I'm like at the halftime. I'm like, are they even the CIA? Like it makes me feel like it's
Yeah.
like some third party. But there's a lot of good actors and a lot of good acting in this movie. There's a lot of good just the reference. I'm watching it right now at the bottom. It's just like actually seeing what an actual actor might have to go through, not just Nick Cage, but an actual person that has to like do what they actually have to do. Because this, dude, I want to know. What I was gonna say sometime through here, we'll go through his like other movies we don't lesser movies I've never seen, or just go straight to Redbox.
There's
There's
quite a
a
few of them.
lot,
Yeah.
man.
And
And
I think that fact, like uh, I think whenever they pitched him this idea, um, I could definitely see him kind of being like a little hesitant at first, and then really lean into it. Either that, or he can appreciate a good joke. I think he really does. Obviously, he did this movie, so he had no problems with doing it. But just kind of watching this movie and doing a little bit more background, man. In the early 2000 like 2010s, he was going through it. He had tax evasion,
oh, dude,
tax fraud, all this other stuff going on. He would go and these were stories that I just kind of heard in passing, but he would go and buy stuff that he couldn't afford,
a lot of stuff from
and
Elvis.
a lot of stuff from Elvis and he was married to Lisa Marie
Presley.
Presley for what, like
Dude. Well, think about it. I
a
forget about
year, less
that.
than a year,
I forget about. So he loved Elvis so much, he married her daughter.
in Hawaii. They got married in Hawaii.
That's insane.
Yeah. but see, and that's why I think this movie is like he can get on board with this because he's to an extent insane. I mean, he grew up in this industry. He's part of a dynasty
Franchise. Yeah,
family,
Dynasty. There you go.
you know,
Dynasty. I was a
dynasty
franchise.
family. I mean, the Coppolas. I mean, Francis Ford Coppola, a fantastic director. I mean, The Godfather, Godfather Part Two.
Dude, The
Yeah,
Godfather 3. No,
but
dude,
and
I was
then even his daughter, you know,
yeah,
Sofia Coppola,
Coppola. Yeah,
she's
she's a
good.
director, and also I didn't know Nick Cage was a Coppola till I got to film school. Like my first thing, they're like, yeah, dude, like that's what everybody likes Nick Cage. He didn't fall, and I thought he because also I saw some stuff on E Entertainment or something, and they had said how Nick Cage that he was like trying to distance himself from that, but that he didn't want to be known. But I didn't know his last name was Coppola.
Hmm.
Like I they had said something else. They could give him another name than that thing. That's the thing. It's like media is
Is it
always like
Coppola? Or is it? I thought it was Coppola.
Coppola. I don't know how. I don't know how.
Ah,
Well, Francis Ford Coppola. So,
I
or like
may
the
just. That's what I've heard. I didn't know if you
I don't know. I just say when you isolate it,
Coppola.
it sounds a little Coppola. But no, I think like when we were going back to like Nick Cage, like, dude, Gone in 60 Seconds is just like not even the tip of the iceberg when it gets
No.
there was a slew of like I'm part of the Nick Cage generation of filmmakers or viewers that we go to the movies by ourselves. We're kids. We're supposed to watch these movies. We still watch them. But there's like a slew of people that I meet, and it's always dude. If you could find a girl that's into it, like, like it's like beautiful because you could quote Nick Cage all day. But like going, let's see, like just starting off in like the mid like '90s. I mean, you had movies like Face Off. You had movies like
The
what's the other?
Rock,
The Rock. You had Gone in 60
Con Air.
Seconds. You have Con Air. You have Snake Eyes.
Hmm.
You have 8 millimeter. 8 millimeter was like his like horror movie kind of thing. You know, he's got. Dude, let me go through this. I want to do this justice because, dude, he really like. There was a part in the '90s where he just came alive,
Oh
man.
yeah,
And you think, and you think all this stuff he has now was like people are like, yeah, he did that. I'm like, nah, dude. And he's got eight upcoming
he's a
films.
superstar. That's what, and I think this movie too. You know, the unbearable. We're just going to call it Massive Talent or
Master Talent.
Unbearable Weight. We're going to call it
I
Unbearable
like,
Weight
yeah.
because if I keep saying the full name, it's gonna just
I
I'm
like
gonna
I
trip it
like
up a little
Massive
bit.
Talent, but I think Unbearable Weight sounds less
Yeah, the Unbearable
cheesed
Weight,
out.
man. It's just I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. You know, it hits on, you know, like it gives that feeling of, you know, he's not washed up. He's relevant, but he's not relevant. You know, like he's kind of like on the brink of what am I doing with my life kind of thing. And but he's just so engrossed with himself that he can't see anybody else around him. Like, and I think it's so interesting. He's like, well, you know, I showed this to my daughter because you know, I thought she would, you know, really enjoy it. She's just so mature and stuff like. No, he wanted to watch it because of him, but
Yeah.
he's not going to sit there and admit that. You know, he's Nick Cage. Like he's gotta find that nuance. And I think even at the end of the film, like he's better but he's you know he's still got some work to that version of Nick Cage. Let me put it this way:
I
the
get,
the Nicolas Cage that we see in the movie is a very like
well,
I don't
well,
know, man, very selfish to
well,
start off with.
I like that. Well, I like that he has the Nicky character because it's
Yeah,
good. It's for the fans. Like it's like
hmm
we know how you really are, and so he
yeah,
shows you that he's really because that has to deal with mental health. You know,
hmm
that's the deal with like he's coping with that. He's got a version of himself that he sees. I'm
yeah.
sorry, dude. I'm going through here, and I was like, dude, there's just
It's
so
a lot
much.
of them,
Dude,
but
there's just so many movies he did in the '90s. Like he did so many in the '80s. I keep going down here and like, let me just start a good. There's not a good point. They're all good. So it's like, dude, just starting out Honeymoon in Vegas. That was 1992,
mhm.
and then he has this movie called Amos and Andrew, and then it's Red Rock West. Then it turns into the good stuff with like was Deadfall, but then it turns into Guarding Test. That's in the movie. It Could Happen to You, Trapped in Paradise, Kiss of Death. God, Leaving Las Vegas, The Rock, Con Air, Face Off, City of Angels, Snake Eyes, 8 millimeter, and then it says Bring Out the Dead. I haven't seen that one. Gone in 60 Seconds,
Yep.
The Family Man.
Hmm.
Then he's got Captain.
National Treasure
Dude,
after
he's the
that.
National Treasure. Dude,
Hmm.
he was in Windtalkers. He's got these other ones like. Then he starts going like Adaptation. That's a great one.
Hmm.
Matchstick Men. That's a great one. National Treasure. Those are good. The Lord of War. The Weatherman. Ant the Bully. The World Trade Center, dude. The Wicker Man, dude.
It,
Dude,
and that's the thing is like he's sort of like typecast, but he's not. Like
he's not,
he
dude.
moves everywhere.
And then he's
And
also those are lead roles, and he's also in 2007. I mean to cut you off.
no,
He's also in Ghost Rider, so he's part of the MCU as well.
well, he's part of Marvel. He's not necessarily part of MCU.
They're gonna be. I love. Yeah, he's part of it, bro.
They may bring him back, but I mean honestly after Unbearable Weight, I mean this you actors do have revivals. They go through them,
They
you
always
know,
do.
and they'll
Yeah.
come and they'll it's an ebb and flow kind of thing, and you just kind of have to ride it. And I think that's really what Unbearable Weight really kind of emphasizes too. Is like, well, not even emphasize it, but just kind of shows you like you may not always be on the top or be exactly where you want to be, but hell, man, if he's successful.
Yeah.
He has a family. He has a daughter and everything like that, and he you know, I think that first, you know, third of the movie where it's just like you seeing him being sad and everything like that, it's very it's it's cringy, but you're just like, man, that poor dude, you know, he really he has it all right in front of him. He's not paying attention. He's not present. He's not actually listening. And
But
you
that's
know,
the thing, though. That's the
if he would just listen to his ex-wife or his daughter. I mean, granted, I know he thinks he's doing what's best for them, but he's doing what's best for him.
but that's
And
the point, though. He's the vessel that gets them there. Like they need him. So
they
it's trying to find that no, because we're getting a first hand point of view through his. They
yeah.
don't get to see the first point of view what he's going through. They just see like, Dad, I need you here. Dad, give me this. So it's the that's what I did love
But
about
I
the
didn't
movie
even
with the
see them asking that much of him. They just wanted him there.
yeah, but also like, dude, the he's not connected.
They were just mainly concerned with him being a human being, and he was concerned with being a superstar.
Nah, I don't know, man. I think he was. It just looks like a job, dude. It's like a guy. You can take that character and you can put him like, oh, he's working as a lawyer, or he's an overworked doctor, or it's just like a person that has worked a certain way and they want to stay there. So that's what we're seeing how he's doing through it, how he's going through those levels, how he's coping through it as a character, not Nick Cage, as a character Nick Cage in the movie. Like that, we're gonna. I guess we'll talk about Nicolas Cage
Yeah.
as
Well,
the
and
actual act person.
yeah, and I think it's, you know, it's very interesting, man. You because you do see people that are just like they try to like I feel like he maybe not so much projecting on his daughter, but he wants her to like the same things that he likes.
Well,
He
that's the
does,
thing,
and
and that,
he's and like it's in a caring manner, but like I said, he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to her.
oh,
He doesn't
dude,
listen to her needs. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying about that family aspect of it, but you can't
Mhm.
be Nick Cage and think like that, or you can't not say Nick Cage. You can't be like, you have like, look at all the stuff he has around him. The one of the moments that he has with his daughter he cherishes when she was a little girl, like he remembers that. But since that, you know what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
but
But
they
I
also
mean,
like they're also there.
that's like the one memory he's like holding on to. But that's the thing is like even his wife mentions it to him, like, you know, she, you know, because he was like reminiscing, like, oh, remember when it was so easy and stuff like that
Yeah,
and everything. And then she's like, well, she's grown up now, Nick. Like
yeah. Time passed.
yeah, well, and you have to adapt to what their needs are too. Because I don't know, I'm you're a parent, I'm not, and but I feel like that you have to put your child's needs above your own, you know,
It's
and the wants, like I feel like it's a balance
well,
obviously,
it's
and you
definitely a
can't lose
balance.
yourself either, like you still have to be a person and everything like that, but if if you're and you have to listen too, and I feel like that was the main disconnect is like he he would hear what they had to say, but he wasn't listening. He didn't listen until after he came back.
Yeah, but
Even then, it was like,
we had to
but
go through the
he,
traumatic thing, and also like they brought the whole family involved, and it was an innocent thing. The way the movie makes it seem like it's vicious.
mhm,
It's an innocent thing that it's the Pedro Pascal character.
yeah,
He's the one that brought him, not the cousin. You know what I mean? So,
hmm
but I'll say parenting. It's not about their needs or their wants. It's about a mutual balance that we can teach. I'm teach to teach my son what those are difference between needs and wants. That's
yeah,
taking a long time. It's about spending time. A lot of I mean, that's why I built a podcast studio because I was like, well, I want to work from home, but I can't do it in the home. Let's do it on the outside. And then it seems like, but I also like I enjoy it because I have windows and I can just see him. It's playing on his clubhouse, what he calls it now. It's like a playhouse, but I can see him. And it's also it's not just watching him; it's also shared time. We have to be together, you know.
Hmm.
No, and there's gonna be a moment where he's gonna want to be with his friends, and I'm gonna be here talking to you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And right now he's inside waiting for me. But this is what we're. It's a little sacrifice, but it's not. He knows he gets me for the rest of the day. You know, and it's about understanding shared space, shared time. Like I want to make sure that when he goes off in the public, he knows how to take care of himself. He's well mannered. He's well just does the basic stuff like no just know how to protect yourself. Act any which way you want. You're gonna be treated by society whichever way they want to see you. You know they want
Hmm.
to see you. But I would say as a parent like expose your kids to things, and spend time with them. That's the thing. But that's the hard part. That's what I'm trying to say. Not just an actor. Think about a person that's not even making like barely like making money like or they were like a waiter and they're making $30,000 a year and then they go get it like an LVN or some job as a nurse and they start making double that and
Yeah.
then but making double that means you're putting double time into it means you're doing more things so it's like you're still away from your kid you're still like and you're not even doing you're just trying to provide more there's a certain point where I took that like you know what I'm not gonna make any more money right now. I don't care about the money. It's all about him. So the last 5 years, I've put him a lot up front. But that's the thing. Like, where am I gonna put my time? Hanging out with my friends at a bar, putting it into my garden. What am I gonna do? But it's about hanging out with my kid. And honestly, because he's only gonna be once. He's only gonna be two once. He's only gonna be three. I'm only 39 1 year. You're only what old are you? 22, 23. You're only gonna be there for for another year. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you.
Well, you're forever 23. But
Forever
he,
21, bro.
for oh well, no, what I'm trying to say is like you gotta, and it's those times where there's gonna be a little sacrifice, and he knows
Yeah.
that. Like when I went to LA, he knew I was gonna, and that's why I did that trip. I literally followed, I everything I did, I tracked just so I can see the time I use, and it was like wow, you literally could go fly, do your thing, come back, even with a 10-hour delay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wanted all of us to do this because in case he ever in the future wants to do something and I don't know what it's about, let's go explore. Let's figure. It's just
Yeah.
about being interested in things and supporting it. Parenting sucks, man, because they don't. There's no guidebook. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Well,
hard. It's hard and easy. It's hard and easy.
yeah, and I think it's interesting too. Like he and going back. First off, thank you for your take on parenting. Really
Oh
appreciate
God,
that.
I don't. I should let
Um,
but nobody take my
no, but
advice.
that's no. That's the thing. Is like you gotta. It's like everything in this world. You just gotta kind of do your best and figure out what works for you. But
Well, put it this way. Let me say this. My son right now. this is a straight up Ben and CJ question. A CJ to Ben question. uh, Max is pretending to make YouTube videos because he watches YouTube a lot, and I
mhm,
watch a lot of his own so he wants to start doing them. I'm scared as a parent. I mean, I'm doing this.
yeah,
I'm scared as a parent exposing him too young. I know there's too many young star stories that I'm like, how do you let them understand that that they're because it's not really all stars actors are fucked up. It's really people grow up and fuck up and mess
yeah.
up. It's not just because they're a child actor. Well, actually, I just answered my own question. It's still about the
Well,
support and parenting.
and, yeah,
Because
and
I don't.
here's the thing too. Is like y'all can make those videos. And you don't have to post them until later.
That's what I've been hearing. That's actually the number one response I
Yeah,
get. Just
there's a guy I worked with. His son likes to review hot things like hot Cheetos and spicy chips and stuff like that. And he has a YouTube channel, but it's a YouTube channel that like I don't know if it's like only they can see or what
yeah,
exactly it is, but he he monitors it in a way that's like okay, I don't want I don't want to be exposing my son to the whole world, because there's
yeah.
a lot of creeps out there,
They
especially on
are,
the internet.
dude. They are.
And so he's wanting to protect him, but still wanting him to explore, like what you're wanting to do. So there's ways to do it because that's the great thing about young kids. They don't quite fully understand everything and how it works. So
Neither
you
do
can,
adults, dude.
no, neither. But they like you could be like, oh yeah, it's on YouTube, and then you just play on the video. I'm like, yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, and that's why also
So
because there's a lot of like I don't like him watching the shows where kids are inappropriate or acting like there's a bunch of frats like guys acting like younger kids or I don't know, just joking around a lot doing frat
mhm,
stuff and I'm like I don't want you watching this stuff you start acting out. But I think I like that you said that because it really does. I've been hearing that a lot and it's just like because I'm like I want to support what he does
Hmm.
anything he does. But also, like my father wasn't like that, wasn't supportive. So I'm trying to not do the same thing happen to me. But I'm also not. I'm also don't want to be dumb because I'd rather just make a YouTube video, post it out there, let them see what happens. And I've in the void of life of like being like I wish things didn't happen like that. That all the creepiness or the people that want to like get to know where you live and all that shit. Like if people were just to leave it as content, that would be great. If
Yeah.
there's a meet and greet signing thing, go for it, great. But people will always go above and beyond, and we're gonna get to that massive talent or the unbearable weight because um, the what is the Pedro Pascal character's name?
Javi.
Javi. That's right, Javi. Where's Javi? I am Javi.
Yeah.
He's like that fanboy shit is real. I have it, but I've met a lot of my celebrities I've always wanted to meet, so I've slowly been processing it. And I don't know how to explain it. Your brain just shuts off, dude.
No.
It's an excitement, it's an adrenaline, it's a high. I don't know what it is, but like the way he does it very properly, he's trying to be professional. He's trying to this is my favorite part about this movie is Nick Cage is trying to be in reality. He's trying to live like I got bullshit problems. I got to get this shit over with. I got to fix my family. And he gets placed in this place because he needs the money because he didn't get the part. Because there's actually like a structure to this movie, right? In the
Hmm.
story.
Oh yeah.
So he doesn't get the part. So that's why he's there, and he's doing it for the money. But then he realizes like when Javi starts freaking, we will have to go, Maria. Like he's literally writing what he sees. Oh, that's the beautiful part about this movie. Like it goes up, and they start. It's so meta that they start talking about this is the part of the movie. Like I've always
Hmm.
wanted a movie like that, and this is the perfect person to do it is Nick Cage,
Yeah.
and the fact like the whole part of like him Javi being the fan, and he starts playing around with, and that's what brings Nick Cage back to the character where he's just like because there's the separations there you got to catch, and where he's like where do we go? What do we do? And he starts going, and it's like he's playing around with him. He's having a good time, and I think that's what Nick Cage likes to do. He's like, I mean, granted the money, like getting paid to do what you enjoy, but like, I mean, like last night, dude, I did stand up comedy, and I ate shit. I sucked last night, and I found out about myself. You want to be vulnerable, and you want to be honest, but a lot of people don't want to hear successful things for people that are doing good on stage. So I tried to reverse that yesterday and be like, be positive. I just sound like a youth pastor coach, and I was like, great. But the cool thing was, it was nobody there. It was only like four people. Um, good thing was there was a guy listening to my jokes, and he what do you call it? Give me critique. I was like, oh, because critique and feedback is good,
Hmm.
regardless whether it has, but because that meant someone took the time to hear you out.
They were listening.
Listening. And
They
that's what.
didn't just hear. They
Yeah.
listened.
So that's the thing when we're talking about this whole movie that
Yeah.
Javi's playing Nick's song. He's playing what he was tuning to what he wants to do, and he knows it, but it looks all awkward because Javi's not an actor. He's learning how to do this. This is kind of like Bowfinger. Like I
Yeah.
love. We got to get the Bowfinger. If we would have put Bowfinger this one, you could literally watch Unbearable Weight, and then put Bowfinger and be like, "How's how they make the movie?" And
Mm.
then with Renfield, the way I'm seeing this is Unbearable Weight is like you see Nick Cage, and then Renfield is this is the movies he can make. Like
Yeah.
if somebody if nobody ever saw Nick Cage, and nobody ever seen him, and you could show them this movie first, they'd be like, "Oh, these are all the movies he's been." And you could the ones, or you could show
Hmm.
them all his movies and then show them this one. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was a good movie. All the characters are great. Stories just great, well written, well acted. The fact that there's just a lot. Like I'm playing it right now, and the fact that he's playing, it doesn't make sense. Nick Cage playing an over exaggerated Nick Cage, like
Hmm.
that does not. Is that real? Is that
Yeah.
did we ask for that? Did we really get what we wanted? Did
Yeah.
we? And he does such a great job at
We
it.
we didn't even ask for it. It just kind of happened. It was
Oh,
something that
we wanted it. We
I
just didn't talk
mean
about it. We wanted it.
I mean we wanted it, but it's not something that was like I wouldn't be like yeah, I definitely want to see this Nick Cage. Now, whenever I saw the trailer for it, I was like, okay, this has potential to be a very great movie, and they knocked it out of the park.
Oh hell
I
yeah.
feel I feel like that this is a movie that was, you know, you don't have to be a big Hollywood actor to understand it or to even relate to it. Uh, people like you said, they get lost in their own things and just not even their own things. Like I said, I do think that he thinks Nick Cage in the movie thinks that he is doing this all for his family. I
Yeah.
think he I think he genuinely thinks that,
Yeah, I can see
and he
that.
genuinely feels that. But I also think that the moves that he makes to show that and to help them, that he does not, they those are selfish moves. Like he wants these things because he wants them, and then you know it's I feel like that doing that for his family is a sidebar, but he think like in his mind to justify it.
I don't know. Yeah,
He
I think you're looking too deep into that. I think it's very straightforward as the fact that he's like, hey, he's like, I mean, he's. It's kind of weird because we're talking about this fictional Nick Cage
mhm,
inside the real world of Nick Cage,
yeah.
but I think what it is because he's, dude, because he's the character when he's not talking and he's just not around people. He's the himself, you know.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of that, and I pick up on it. He's just doing it's a paycheck, and he's doing it for them, but it's also for himself. But
Oh,
it's
dude,
the
no, no,
cycle.
no.
It's
It's
the
it's not
cycle.
it's not just a paycheck for him.
What I'm getting it is like what I'm
He
getting.
he
Well, sorry, what
he
I'm getting from you is that he kind of ego, the big ego. I don't think he has it. I think he's at that point where he has. You have to have it, but I don't think he has. I don't see it in the character.
I don't think I don't think you have to. I mean, you do have to have that aspect to you, but it doesn't have to encompass your entire personality.
But I think
And
what
I feel like that's what I feel like this 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 Nick Cage is very ego driven. Very much so. I think that, like I said, I think that he honestly thinks that it's a paycheck to paycheck, but the way he talks about movies, hell no, dude. This
yeah,
is a passion project for him. It is
what
a
turns into it, right?
no, no, no. I'm saying the way, not the way that he talks about Javi's movie. I'm talking about
Oh,
like
his own
his
movies.
his like no, no, no. Even like he's talking about, his daughter, oh, she never went read Twain, she never did this. He's an artist, man. He does the paycheck is I think like eh, like his family, I think is almost like secondary, but he comes first. Nick Cage comes first, and in this
I don't know.
this
I feel
I
like
really do. At the beginning of the movie, he
I
can
do,
he
but I
can
don't think that's like
say
a main. I don't think that's like the main. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and and also the ego is there. It's Nikki. So I guess what I'm trying. I guess I'm literally seeing what I'm. Cause I'm looking at the scene where he's telling
yeah,
him like you're Nick fucking Cage. Like
yeah,
who hasn't done that? Like off script. You know what I'm saying? This is like a
yeah,
fun. Yeah, it's just that part where he does it, and that's that ego inside. So that is so there is his ego. So if he tries to hide it, he can't. It's right in his face.
but
It's right.
but
So
even then, like he
well, that's
can't
him.
he can't hide it.
No,
I
that's right.
mean,
That's him. Yeah. So
I
you're
know,
right.
but
So
like his wife is sitting there, or his ex-wife, excuse me, is like sitting there and telling him like you need to be more present, Nick. Like you can't be thinking about these trips that you had with your daughter, you know, whenever she was younger and
that makes
everything
sense.
was
Yes, that makes
easier.
sense. I
I
for,
think I don't know, like it just it resonated with me as more than just like he's having trouble being a human being.
yeah, I see that.
Like, and that's why he's going to the therapist. That's why he has his daughter in there with the therapist. Like he's trying to connect with her, but he's not.
Well,
Like this is
he's going through
he's
the
going through the
motions.
motions.
He's going
Yeah,
through the motions, but he's
exactly.
not actually doing it right. But there, or
Yeah.
I mean, there is no right or wrong. It's
No,
just
but he's not, like I said, he's not listening to her. He overtalks. And even then,
yeah.
it's like she's just sitting there like, all right, we'll just let him keep talking.
But that's why we have character development, and that's why we have a story here. So he went through
Exactly.
something to bring him back. Great points. I get it. But I just want to talk more about my less about the decisions that the character makes throughout this movie because he's movie based, and he's also like that doesn't work. You know, they're questioning the real world because there's just
Yeah.
such a yes movie like yes do that, yes go for there, yes, and certain parts are like wait a minute, what are we doing, what's going on.
Yeah.
So I mean I like a lot of like I just forgot he makes out with himself.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that scene,
Yeah.
and that is like he's in love with himself. That's
Mhm.
totally showing that
Exactly.
part. So it's showing that
Exactly.
part. So, but the way what I'm also doing is we're watching it in a movie, and they artistically chose to do that. I think that's brilliant. I think like
Mhm.
you could find a million other ways for someone to be in love with themselves, and they said no, Nick Cage is literally in love. Look, he's kissing himself.
Yeah.
Like that shit is insane. Like
You tell him Nick Cage smooches good.
yeah, that's
You
right.
know,
The
like
And it's like a
The
younger version of him, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's like
they de-age it, and it's almost like the Gone from 60 Seconds
yes,
version
right.
of Nick Cage.
Do you think it's like
It
all those
Yeah,
characters in
no, it
once? Is that
is.
what
It's
it's?
like Face Off. It's Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay, so that's how they created
Yeah,
that whole thing.
it's a that's like 90s Nick Cage all in one.
Damn, but see,
Um,
that's the thing is he was he 4 decades? So his 80s. Did he do 70s? Let's find out.
no, 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 no.
So
He
his
didn't do
80s,
70s.
90s, 2000s, and then the 20s, the teens, and the
2010s.
so wow, goddamn, hold on.
Yeah.
Is it? Am I doing this right? 80s.
Hmm.
Then you have the 90s.
Yeah.
Then the 2000s. Then the
Yeah.
2010s, and
Hmm.
now we're in the 20. So it's 50 years. Those are decades.
Yeah.
Nine.
You have 4 decades, and then we're barely into this decade, so we'll call it 4 decades worth, and probably
No, he's
like
already in. No,
late 80s, late
dude.
80s. Yeah,
If you
but
do a
you
movie, hold on. If you do a movie in the year 99 and you do a movie in the year 2000 and you die in the year 2000,
Mhm.
you're still part of the 2000s.
Yeah, but you
So
wouldn't say
even
this person worked for decades.
yeah, I would say that if you did a whole bunch of movies in the 90s, you could say yeah because you walked into the next decade.
Well, no, but you're saying if he that but what I'm saying is if you worked in if you worked in 1999,
Yeah,
let's say
let's do it.
you
Let's do it.
okay, let's say you worked here, we'll do this. Say you worked from 1992, okay, until 2001.
Okay.
You're a year short of a decade, but we'll give it to you. Okay? That's a decade. And like I get what you're saying
Oh,
like
so you're saying like 95 to
mhm.
2005 is a
Yeah.
decade.
So if you
I'm talking about
so
decades as the whole 90s. It's just a
yeah,
brand.
but say I mean, what if he? I don't think he was
Because
working in like the early '80s, was he?
we'll put no, I think probably 70s if you started because it's high school. But also check this
There's
out.
no way the '70s,
The check this out, dude. If no, what I get what you're trying to say, but if you do a movie in 1999 and then 2000 and you don't work, let's say you don't die, let's say you don't do another movie till 2009, or just say 2008. Let's do that. I would still say you're 2 decades. What let's say you did
say that again. Sorry, I was looking up
let's
Nick
say let's say
Cage.
you're like Daniel Day Lewis, where you just have what do you call it? You only do so many movies so many times. So if he does one in the 90s and then he does one in 1999 and then he does one in 2005 and he does one in 2011, I would consider that 4 decades because you're in the decade. I don't know. I guess that's the way I see it. I get what you're saying too because accumulatively you start the
Yeah.
time.
Well,
So
yeah. Like okay, so say if he,
but I
I
think it's when
mean,
you
yes,
touch.
if you were continuously working through those, you could say he's been working through 4 decades. I think it's just semantics, really.
Oh, is it all? Yeah, is that what that's
Yeah,
semantics there,
I think that's
Benjamin? Is that
really
what we're doing here?
yeah. Well, I mean, since we're talking,
Hey,
yeah,
hey, we're
yeah, yeah.
talking Nick Cage about
Oh,
Nick Cage.
you know what other Nick Cage movie that's really good? He uses his voice in, Spider-Man
Yeah,
across,
the noir.
huh? Yeah,
He's
he's
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
noir.
Noir, and yeah, man. Let's see here. No, it's I what I think is so good about Unbearable Weight is just like how okay, so 81 is his first acting credit. So he worked through the 80s, through the 90s, through to so yes, 4 decades. He has worked through 4 decades. Now,
You're not giving him credit for the fifth though.
no, not yet.
Then you got damn bet you're hardcore. You got to go through
No,
it.
no, no,
It's
not
like
that. You
I
got
think
to work 10 more years. Work 10 more years and then you got that decade.
how old is
I
he?
wouldn't say that I've been working like let's say I started working in my 20s, right? I've been working for a decade, little over a decade. But just because I'm in my, I've been working for 11 years, I'm not going to say I worked for 2 decades.
So you're not gonna give me. I started working at.
No, no,
I
no.
got you for.
You get that credit once you get to that 10th year.
Oh, so you're doing it by that point
You
standards.
have to.
I'm doing it by timeline standards.
You're
So
doing
time
it.
just keeps
Yeah,
going.
you're doing it
Because timeline,
by
I'm doing it by timeline because lifetime it just keeps going. Where
yeah.
you're doing
No,
it,
no.
you're saying that you need to do. Like it could be any. It could be any time
No,
frame. It could be
I
1950 to 1960, or it could be 1870, and then you
that's a
were
decade.
yeah
Yeah.
you were a pioneer from
But I guess
1870
what I'm
to like
saying is like if now I could say I've worked through let's see, I worked through 2009 and then I worked all the way through the 2010s and then now I'm working. I've worked through through decades, you know, but I have not worked for 2 decades,
hmm.
you know.
So you wouldn't lie on your resume there, huh?
So we're it's just it's a matter of I get what you're saying. You're talking about work through the 80s, work through the 90s, work through the all that. but I mean, I wouldn't say because he hasn't made it through the 2020s. He hasn't, worked through 5 decades. He's worked through
I don't
four
know.
decades.
Okay,
He's
okay.
he's he's
He's
coming
he's
up on
59.
five.
He's 59 years old. Let's
Hmm.
say we get another 10 years, then he'll be. Then he'll be. Wait, so he'd have to be. Wait, when did he start acting?
81.
1981. So all right,
So that was 40 years ago. So he
so he's got
was,
to get to 2031 to get the.
yeah, yeah.
He's
To
hardcore,
get to
Ben.
get
Ben.
5 decades worth of acting, he has to get to 2031. Yes.
Wow, dude. Pedro Pascal's 48. John Travolta's 69.
Ha.
Um, let's see. Tom Cruise is 60. Ed Harris is 72. Nicholas Holt is 33. Wow, I thought he was a little bit older than that, but no, he's 33.
Yeah, he's only
Uh,
only a year.
he's younger.
Oh wow, damn. Renfield's
Wow,
already
dude.
over.
So, Nicholas Cage was born in Long Beach, California, January 7th, 1964. So it's kind of like the New Year's happens, and then 6 days later, Cage happens. You know what I'm saying? Nah, dude, out of all the movies that he's made, gotta say, dude, my favorite. I mean, their favorite Joyride's Con Air. I mean, Dave Chappelle's in it. Hey,
Put the
Pitbull.
bunny back
But
in
the
the
bunny down. I
box.
mean, I love the part where he says, "This thing is hideous. How much you pay for this? $6,000. I'll give you 20 grand."
See, and that's
But
that's
love
that's
for some.
that's even more meta because that's what he would do
Do you
in
I'm gonna
the.
say? Do you think he did that with the
Yes,
Elvis stuff?
yes, 100%. Well, not
Like, oh,
even with
oh,
the Elvis stuff, but just like getting memorabilia, getting, buying houses. Like he would overpay because he was like, "Huh,
I need it.
I'm Nick Cage. I can pay for this.
See,
Like
this is
I'm
this.
I'm gonna be making more money.
So
I can
so
make more movies."
this is where I was getting confused because you're talking about the real one. There's like three versions of Nick Cage we're talking about,
Yeah.
and you're talking about the real one. But at the same time, you're talking about where they're getting material to create these characters. It's the actual his decisions from real life.
No,
So
the character building in this is, I mean, it has to be from real life. This is
no,
that's
it's
what I
yeah, because
that's why I
but
love this. I mean, obviously it's an exaggeration of Nicolas Cage. Obviously, this, not to say there are definitely aspects of this film that are very well translated into his real life, 100%, 100%. And they're also going to take, you know, um, shots at him, and he can. This is almost like this is a movie that he can make fun of himself.
yeah, dude, look what I just read. The first trivia thing. First, like this is fucking funny. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Nicolas Cage thought Javi was the best written character in the movie so much, so he even asked to trade parts, as he thought playing his own biggest fan was more meta than playing himself. It wasn't until Pedro Pascal was cast that Cage eventually relented, so he wanted to play Javi.
Yeah.
God damn, I love you, Nick Cage,
So
dude.
who would play Nick Cage? Andy Samberg.
No, get out of here.
So he wanted to play a dual role.
Maybe, but no, no. I think he who would play Nick Cage. It had to be.
Andy Samberg. That's the close. Have you not seen his SNL impression? It's
No,
spot
dude.
on.
No, dude. He tries. No, I've seen those stupid hair. I've seen him do the Mark Wahlberg. It's a good beat. It's not a good. They're not good impressions. He does the beats, but he doesn't do the. Let me look it up. I'll look it up later. I've seen where he wears a black suit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's yelling. Yeah,
But
nah, man.
who would you
If I had to
cast as?
cast somebody right now, I mean, just from that, dude, and it'd be like I'd watch that movie. God, it sucks, man, because the Nick Cage and the Pedro Pascal is just perfect. But if we were to mix it out and um, give Nick Cage the Javi role, would that be harder for him to play too?
Hmm.
Because Pedro plays it perfect. It's. I'm pretty sure we're gonna find out that Pedro Pascal has seen all of Nick Cage movies, and it was like an honor for him to be like,
Well, and tell me it wouldn't. Tell me it wouldn't be an honor to work with Nicolas Cage. I mean, just because this, like I said, this man is a superstar. He has gone to the tippy top. He has been a Disney franchise leader. That's not it's not an easy goal, even in the early 2000s.
yeah,
Like I mean, National Treasure just had I don't think he was part of the TV series, but he was part of a movie that had so much clout that 10 years
that's true.
10 years plus after the last movie, they still were like, you know what, we can make money off of this, you know that Jerry Bruckheimer phase of the early
That's
2000s,
true.
man, they were churning and burning whenever it
Mm-hmm.
comes to like Disney live action, cool. You had Pirates of the Caribbean, you had National Treasure. They're actually going to be coming out with a haunted house or a haunted mansion movie in this next. I think it's this year or
Like the
yeah,
Eddie Murphy
yeah,
one.
d- better,
No,
better.
I'm saying
Like a
that, but like
but
a
yes, yeah,
remake of it.
yes, yeah. But
Dude,
it's
that
going to be a
movie
PG-13. Like
that movie
it's not going to
got
be a kids movie.
didn't that movie like do well in the box office, but it's a bad movie, or I can't remember. It was a good movie.
No, no, I think it did well enough in the box office, but it was when Eddie Murphy started going with Disney.
That's what they said. That's when his
That's
career died.
yeah, just because like he was too confined, you know. Oh man, Dolomite is my name. Have you seen that
I
one,
need to see it. I
dude?
heard about
Like
it.
the first like 30 seconds, he's like, "Well, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that." Fuck. It felt like Eddie Murphy, and I was like, this is going to be amazing, and it was. He
Yeah,
was
for so
able
I need to watch that.
he was able to he wasn't confined by you know censors really.
Yeah, well,
Once one
Disney.
you
Yeah,
know.
so I read an article in I want to say Maxim magazine a while back, a long time ago, and it said top 10 comedians
Mhm.
and that dead comedians, and they had him in there, and they said, oh, we all know that Eddie Murphy isn't. He's not. He's still walking around, but his career's been dead ever since he went to Disney. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't pay attention. And I started to look back at everything, and I was like, yeah, he went different.
Yeah. He
And I'm
had
trying to.
to. He had to. He was trying to pivot the career, and it just it didn't work for him. He tried to lean into something that really wasn't him, and the
Well,
audience.
they'll take care of you financially, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, but anyway, but um, yeah, man.
I'm trying to
N-
figure out. I'm just trying to.
Nicholas Cage in Unbearable Weight. Like I feel like that it's probably if we had to say like what percentage is over exaggerated, like how much we'll say this, how much of the real Nick Cage we get, I would say we get 70% real Nick Cage.
Yeah, that's right. I'm confused with all this. I'm looking at like I'll have to look at it different. My brain's all like because even here in the trivia, according to Neil Patrick Harris, Nick Cage had body makeup to cover his tattoos. When he asked Cage why Nick Cage, see the character doesn't have tattoos. Nicolas Cage, the real person, has Cage. They said the character didn't have as many wives as him.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's therapy, right? For people that get, he's one of those that you
Hmm.
get tattooed and it solves you, it calms you down, or like helps you
Probably.
get yeah, I was just that's crazy.
Yeah.
A sequence involving Nicolas Cage reprising some of his most iconic roles like Face Off 1997, Con Air 1997, Leaving Las Vegas 1995, and Gone in 60 Seconds 2000, and a long black and white fight sequence between him and his younger self, and the surreal German expressionist set evoking of the oh yeah, the cabinet of Dr.
Hmm.
Caligari
Yeah,
was
Caligari.
cut from the film as the studio thought it didn't fit the third act. According to Cage, he deleted the scene will be released on a home media. Oh, okay, yeah, because he likes that movie. His daughter doesn't like it,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
then Javi likes it, so
Hmm.
that's that click. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
know what, man? There are some people that they will like, dude. I don't know how to explain it because I do meet celebrities, and then I meet people that meet celebrities, and I'm starting to understand certain things. You'll meet celebrities that says like, Kevin Smith says I'm vegan. A lot of people try switching to vegan, and some people do, and some people can't because he's vegan. But a lot
Yeah.
like certain things, or you start listening to like, oh, this person likes motors and this person likes cars, so you might want to get close to that person. They'll start like studying things or start trying
Yeah.
to so have a conversation. But if it's not in you,
Hmm. It's
it's
awkward.
it's awkward.
If
It's
if
fake.
if you if yeah, exactly. I I, unlike you, have not met a whole lot of celebrities, so I don't really know how I'd react.
Yeah, dude,
But
you got to do. I got to take you. I've been trying
in
to take you to those.
I know, man. I'm sorry. I just
We'll find
I
you. We'll find you one. I'm finding because you're also
if
not part of the horror convention. Is when I go to Dallas
no,
for it.
well, and another thing too is like if we could, and honestly, like the cameo thing may be the best option for me. That way, it's just not a whole bunch of people around and everything like that. I don't know. Some my I may have low key social anxiety. Just a tidbit.
Dude, before we
Um,
started, I was talking about my anxiety, and
it's
then I got on stage and I
you
realized
know
it's anxiety.
yeah, no, it's a weird deal. Like I said, I really feel After 2020, it really got like
dude.
really didn't want to be around crowds as much as possible. But uh yeah, man, it's this Nick Cage in this movie, man. It's I don't think it's too like he's not too far fetched. These are things that
Yeah.
I
Wait,
think he's gone through. You know,
I did like. Did you the CIA? They're in this movie, but they're not like heavy into this movie.
no,
Was it Ike Barinholtz and what's her
Tiffany
name?
Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish.
Dude,
They
I love whatever she's like. Action, like a trained actor. Those, and then later on, I think one of the more funnier scenes is whatever he's like. I could really get into some spycraft. It's like, well, great, because we have another mission for you.
no.
Fuck that, like just the inflection of his voice. Like, I want to know how many takes they had to do because like whenever he gets so like flustered, like you hear like this almost like I don't even know. Like you just feel like it's real. Like he has that like he nails that perfect. He acts that moment out perfectly for himself. Like he's like trying to be cool and calm. Like, yeah, I'm a spy. I'm
Yeah.
good. And then they're like, yeah, you could. We actually need your help again. No, 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 no. Like he's
Well, because he got away with it. Now it's over. Now
yeah,
you got to
but
reopen Pandora's box. Like, no, I don't want to do that.
well, and that's the thing too is like he's thinking he can do these things because
He's an actor.
he's an actor. Even then, like, and to be fair, was it Ike Barnholtz? Like his character is like, you're telling me that 5 years of hard data, it was wrong. It was Lucas was the head
Yeah.
of it. So I mean, he was right in that sense. Like he's like, I don't know, I've been trained to
Yeah.
to know people, all this other stuff, and so. I think it's kind of neat that they kind of play off of that. Like he's right about a few things that other people are wrong about, but also he's wrong about a lot of things.
But I think, but that's too. But I like what you brought that up because that is the thing, man. Like, they downplay actors a lot, and I understand why. I'm talking about a real actor, not a entertainer, not a. I mean, I think we established he's a real actor,
Mhm.
not somebody that just likes to be in front of the TV. Nobody that like wants attention.
And
Like,
and the reason, and I think what another vehicle that kind of drives this movie too is that Javi is, Nicholas Cage. He's always like trying to give away, like, oh no, I can't do that. And he was like, well, not according to the making of featurette. Like you did all your stunts in this movie, and you did
that's
this, and
true.
like, and he's like calling him out on all this stuff that he knows how to do. you know and
That
so and
that's a good.
because he's like, you did all your own stunts on this, and you did this, and like his hyper obsession is like coming back to him, and they're like, no, you can do this because you're Nick Cage. You can go like, and you're kind of like, at times you may get pulled out and be like, how's Nick Cage driving through these streets so good and all this stuff? Oh, well, gone for 60 seconds.
Yeah, you start
Drive, or drive
drive
hard, or whatever,
angry,
drive
drive angry.
angry. That's what it was. Stuff like this. So I think that's cool too, that, and that these actors can pick up these skills, throughout their lives, and then they can have real life application.
But that's what I'm saying because learning somebody, studying somebody, I do that, and then we're gonna jump into that in Renfield because I did want to talk about that because it is about support group
Yeah, we'll
and
give it about 15 minutes.
yeah, yeah. Nah, dude, it's a good movie, dude. You know what it is, Ben? It's too horror for you. It's a little too gruesome.
Yeah.
Let's jump into
Yeah.
as that in because I see Renfield. He's acting because he's overacting in Unbearable Weight, and Renfield he's actually playing a character. I believe he's playing Bela Lugosi's Dracula.
I would even say he's overacting in this.
Well, that's Nick Cage,
I know,
but
but
that
that's what I'm
works for the
saying.
character.
It does work for the
Let me
character.
tell you.
I'm
Let me
not
tell
saying
you.
it's a bad thing. I'm
Oh,
not saying
okay.
it's a bad thing. I'm not. It's
Well,
not
I
a
don't
negative
even see
thing.
the overacting. I just because it makes sense. Dracula is old, and
Yeah.
he's in a different time, dude. It just reminds
Like
the whole.
whenever he's just like, some call me the Lord of Death.
Oh, yeah.
Like that those kind of. But see, that's what I'm saying. Is like that overacting is compensated by the fact that it's Nicolas Cage.
Well, I don't know, dude. I don't see the overacting like what you're saying like there. I'm seeing is he's being a dramatic character because the character's Dracula's dramatic. Dracula would be Dracula would be like that.
No.
Dracula would be like he's also what do you call it? He tries looking. I mean, this movie is actually really good, dude. There's a lot of little Easter eggs that if you know about like Dracula, they use in
New
this movie. Like,
Orleans, like that's where
dude,
it's
that's
based
one.
at. Here's one question I had for you. From
What's
the
up?
scene, at the beginning, well, close to the beginning, whenever he's like they're trying to kill him, and the priest and looks like probably Van Helsing or whoever it
Yeah.
um, is they're trying to kill him, and then he gets away. How how far separated do you think that is from where we get New Orleans present day? Like, how long do you
Oh,
think?
from that time to that time.
Yeah,
I think it's only like it's not that long because they said he should be like 80 years old. On the age that Renfield should be like 80 years old. So that's what the date. I don't know. No, it could have been longer. I was
that's
100
what I'm
years, right?
saying. That's what I'm
I think it's
saying.
only
Like,
I think
is
it's only 100 years.
but but what I'm asking is like this is just an isolated incident. Like Renfield has already been his servant because they're talking to
Oh,
him
because
like
yeah, they found all that.
they're acknowledging him as like you can get away from this, da 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 da, and all that. But I'm just curious, like, what year do you think that takes place?
Dude, oh man, when I saw that, my mind just went to like Transylvania, old time. Like he's been around forever. I know
Yeah.
it's in here.
Yeah,
Um,
but no, what I'm saying is like that scene, and then you cut to him still trying to regenerate. So how long do you think?
oh
Like,
well, you understand that you
do you think those incidents are
did
the
you hold on
same?
did you get that did you get the way he heals? Like if he finds a pure person, he heals him quicker than is like a trashy person. Like but he
Yeah,
can't just drink. So they
it's like the mummy. He regenerates like the mummy.
well, yeah, but he needs to have different people though. The mummy just takes parts out of you. The
Yeah.
mummy needs your eyes. That's why his eyes don't work. And I didn't I remember we found that like
Yep. Yep.
that's why his eyes don't work, or he takes it from he steals it from you. But the what do you call it? Dracula is just rejuvenating himself, refixing. But
Hmm.
if you're like more pure hearted, he's he's more
What
of a
I guess what my question is, how long do you think it takes for him to regenerate?
I mean it doesn't take that takes a minute. I think it takes him at least a week or two, maybe. I don't know. He was burnt up, and then he was still. Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's what I'm saying. Is like it's you have that scene where he's like
Well, then they go in
on death's
hiding.
door. Yeah,
Well, remember they go into hiding. I don't know, man. I didn't look into deep into that. I looked at it as more
because
as like,
it like showed that scene and then it said New Orleans present day.
well,
So
why do you
there's obviously some time in between. But my question is if
until he
he
heals
hasn't
for?
been
Okay, I get what you're saying. He
if
heals
he hasn't
forever.
been
Heals him
at
forever.
yeah, if he hasn't been at full power for like 100 years, then why is Renfield even still like around?
No, no, dude.
Like
He used to.
why is he? But my question is like, what's Renfield been doing this whole time? Like,
No,
was
he's bringing him bodies. Didn't you see all the bodies there? So that's what they. That's what
okay?
the whole thing about the movie is like. He's a murderer. They start like he's an axe murderer. Is what they give what do you
Okay,
call it? Renfield.
that's true. Yeah.
So it even says it here. It's all silly. It even does familiar, a servant of Dracula, gifted with a tiny portion of Dracula's power.
Mhm.
So I mean, I got Ben. We're not talking about this 15 minutes. We're talking about this for like five. Nah, this movie is amazing. The whole like support group is good. The whole
Mhm.
angle is there. I don't know. This relates so much into my life that's going on right now with me because I've already gone through all that. I've gone through the AA classes. I've gone to. Do you know what Al-Anon is?
Yeah, it's where it's the support group for people who have alcoholics in their family.
Or not just alcoholics, like people that have suffered from.
Or surf.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
my mom used to go to that. Yeah.
so I had to go. I was forced to go to Al-Anon when I was younger, and I ended up meeting. It was a group of women, like just battered women, and I ended up kind of figuring out what's going on. Because the way I was raised was really messed up, and or it was just life. I don't really want to point good or bad. It's just life. And but what do you call it? As I started seeing the support group, it is very important because even like the first thing he does, he changes the colors of everything. I think that's super important. All
Mhm.
those motivational things, dude. I don't know what it is about those, but those are good. One of the first things I did to help me out with like to help me where I could really say like I was like, all right, this is how I'm gonna help out my depression. Is I took just like neon 3x5 cards
Mhm.
and because I do this for movies, I'd be like, this is a scene. This is the death scene. I'll put it in this pink. And this is a scene where they're doing. So I would do stuff like that. And I just started to flip it over and I write something positive about myself or something I want to hear. And then, or quotations or a motivational quote. And I would stick it on my room. I didn't realize how much I was doing. So I started dating this girl named Gabby. She showed up and she's like, oh my God, what is this?
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, this is because I lived with my aunt too. So I was just like, we lived downtown, but we were like, we was there. And I look up and I realize I'd put so many of those things, but I put red ones on there because those are the ones I needed. Like I wanted to prioritize them, or I wanted help, or I wanted to get those. And sure enough, she said, "Well, why don't you work on those things?" So I just started focusing on the red ones, and before you know it, you're just a kid. But it was like a crazy thing I did, and I think I have photos somewhere but of the stuff I had up because I was taught very negative things and put myself down and don't you're not gonna get anywhere. So when you start going through a support group, especially like Al-Anon, where people can like you have other people in the same scenario with you, you know. I don't think the thing about AA, I had to go to AA for I got DWI when I was younger, and they force you to go to AA. And the first thing with AA, I'm just like, this is dumb. They make you. I don't know if it's. I went to AA 2005, so they're like the first thing you have to do is give up to a higher power,
Yep.
God and all that stuff. I was like, when you start doing the religion thing, it doesn't like you lose me with that. You
Hmm.
completely lose it because then you're just hoping you're putting it. And I'm like, how about we do real things? How about we set goals? How about we try to do something? And then they just no. You have to give it. And once you decide to give it up, you'll get better. And I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, why would I have to give up my power? Give up and then I'm gonna be like, I will be a codependent at that point. So that's why I got upset with that whole code. We are children of nature, and we are like a lot of people are codependent on certain things, but the fact that it's just life, I think what I love about Nick Cage. He's probably has issues, but he's acting, he's figuring them
Hmm.
out, he's keeping himself busy. That's why I like a lot of stuff. So these characters he's portraying, and he's at what is he 58? That's what we just found out.
Yeah.
He's 50. He's already older, so he's learning to not reprise the same characters. He's also well aware because of Unbearable Weight. He's well aware of himself, and
Hmm.
now he's made a point. So now every movie after this has to be a performance piece.
Yeah.
I think this is a great job. I'm looking at the beginning scene of Renfield when he's stuck in that circle and
Hmm.
Renfield lets him out.
Yeah.
Dude, that whole scene right there where Dracula is showing you his vulnerability because he's about to die,
Hmm.
and he's sad, and you can and like, dude, I'm gonna go out and say it. My family member that did this to me is I'm very codependent on that point, on that trying to fix them. At this point, I've learned that they're beyond the part of saving. For my part, that no matter what I've tried, no matter what I try to do, no matter who what I can do for myself is not that other person has to do it for themselves. They have to do it. They have to decide, even no matter what you put in their face. And it's just weird. Like you're like the sky's blue, it's red. It's blue, it's red. Okay,
Well,
sky
if
blue.
you're in New York right now, it's red.
Oh, it's red. Yeah, or orange. Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't know. It's like so. Like, but I'm just saying. Like, I'm looking at a blue sky. Like this family member will fight you about it,
Yeah.
just to argue, just because they like the fighting. So when I see Dracula, I do see myself as Renfield, and I put myself as that person is just trying to do better for the other person, right? But then I
Hmm.
see Dracula the way he is. Even when he shows up to the AA meeting, that's just like how that's exactly how the person would show up too, all in black, all skinny, with just like he's being dramatic. He's being
Yeah.
Dracula. You don't
Hmm.
really realize like when you think about what Dracula does. It's dramatic Dracula. Like he's a super. So Nick Cage being able to play Dracula is to him is probably like because it is one of the trivia things. He's waited so long to do this,
Hmm.
but I mean when you see it and you start seeing characters go through it, you start to believe it. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do like Rocky's a great movie for motivation, and it's just like it's a crazy motivational movie because you see somebody go through the shit and they're still in the like 8 Mile. I always thought was a good ending.
Yeah.
Rabbit he does the thing, wins the thing, but what's the point? He has to go back to work. Like
Yeah.
that's a beautiful ending. Like he's not like, oh, you made it, now you're Eminem. No, you're still this Marshall Mathers dude. Get your ass on the assembly line, dude.
Hmm.
Like you know what I mean? And that there's a realness to it. I honestly think what Renfield's gonna hurt it. One of my good friends online comment about it, and it does have the gore porn. It is
Yeah.
very gory, but it's also CGI gory. So I'm learning that I'm okay with CGI death because if you get the practical effect down too well, where it looks like normal, people kind of want to try to do it, or not just hurt, but like try to see. But I feel like when it's CGI, it reminds you you're in a movie.
Yeah.
It
I
reminds you like,
think I think in a movie like this, CGI is more. It's better for sure.
dude, dude, the movie I just did, Pancake Man, I get shot either in the chest, and I never, I just fall because they're like, we're gonna add it in post, and it was so much easier just to keep falling and getting picked up because you don't have to clean up anything. The squib shot always looks real, like looks awesome, but I think for certain movies, because I think I read here on Renfield that Nick
Hello.
Cage, can you hear me?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh no, you lost me. Am I back?
CJ.
Oh no, not
Well,
during
it
the
looks
show.
like I lost CJ for just a minute. But we're gonna keep it going here. We have Renfield that we were talking about. A great Dracula movie. One that's really it's funny enough. It's about Renfield, but Nicolas Cage plays Dracula, and he just kind of takes over. Um, and you really, you kind of, I think that's an interesting thing about Nicolas Cage too, is like he could even be a literally a supporting role. The movie is named Renfield, but I still consider this a Nicolas Cage movie. Um, I think that's an amazing thing about it too, is like, well, CJ, what I was just saying.
I can hear you. You
You
hear
can
me?
hear me. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you now. This movie isn't even about Dracula, but
yeah.
this
I
is
know.
still,
He
it's
could, no,
still,
as I'm saying, like Renfield's the main character, and Nick Cage
yeah,
is only in a few scenes, really.
yeah.
But I mean, he's in the movie, but
I mean,
he's
he's what's spearheading Renfield. I
yeah,
mean, let's,
he still's the show, man, and I
yeah.
think that's good. But also, like that guy, the actor Ben Schwartz,
Hmm.
dude, I saw him in real life at during Moon Tower. He is tall as hell.
Really.
He's like 6'5", dude. He is tall. I was like, damn, that dude's tall.
Oddly enough, man, he's normally very very over the top, and he
Yeah,
is in this movie too,
he
but
doesn't.
not. But it's toned down.
It's so
Like,
no, no. He is. He's over the
yeah,
top, but it does nothing compared
no,
to freaking Dracula there.
no.
Um,
But and you know, Aquafina, I think they did, she did the best she could. I, you know, I don't know. If they had a different actress there, might have gone a little bit better. I don't want to say I didn't like her performance,
yeah,
but I just don't know whether she was not given good direction. Like I
it's
loved her
hard.
in
It's not.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
And
she's
I
good
think
enough.
I think that this too was like she was trying to be,
Serious.
serious, and she was trying to play the straight man, and that's just not her typical role, and she just kind of felt stiff, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I need to know more about her, but I just hear her as a comic. I think she's a stand-up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She's been in like Crazy Rich Asians,
yeah, so like
stuff like
that.
that.
So she's
So she,
venturing off a little bit. Dude, it is hard because it does feel like they just planted her there. Like they
yeah,
could have got somewhere else, but I feel like they just put this character here. I think it's a good thing to have
yeah.
a little bit more diversity in movies. We'll see. I didn't. I her. It's. She's trapped between with Nicholas Holt, Nick Cage, and you have Ben Schwartz running around, and then you have all these other
Yeah.
characters that are doing. You to be the straight man in this movie is so hard to be a straight
But
character.
and to be fair, like whenever she was doing her straight man and being like funny, like the shut the fuck up, Kyle. Like
That
she did
shit.
she did good there, and that's really where she kind of prevailed. And like whenever she has that scene where she's like, "You just cut that guy's arm off with a platter," and
Yeah.
whenever somebody says, "Oh, I've seen something much worse," like this will be my much worse. I like those, and they were delivered. They were delivered well, um, but it just didn't feel like there was, even when she was delivering it, like there was no emotion there.
That's true,
Like the
dude. I
the
get what you're
the
saying.
shut the fuck up, Kyle. That there was emotion there. Like she
Yeah.
felt that, but it felt like as the movie progressed, like she just was more of a flat character, and
Yeah. Well,
I
also
I I
too,
feel I feel like she wasn't utilized as well
yeah,
as
no,
she could have been.
you're right though about that because it does seem like yeah, you're right because there are those scenes where she's not and she is trying to be funny like with the sisters conversation or the cookie. It does kind of I don't know the beats are okay in this movie where I'm okay with
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
and
you're right. I would like to see it like a different because also too like Redfield is kind of vulnerable. Like I don't think
mhm.
she's not like a love interest, dude.
No, and
She
I
she
like that aspect of it too. Like it wasn't like,
uh,
he is obviously, he brings her flowers and stuff like that, but it's not like he's trying to pursue her or anything. It's not like he's trying to be like, "Oh my gosh, you're the love of my life." No, he enjoys her because she can stand up for herself, and he wants to know, "Hey, how can I do that?" Like it's almost like he's trading Dracula for her
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what it is.
thing.
That's why, because also I caught that. I go. There, it's obvious they're gonna give the freaking what was his? But what's Ben's character's name? Is it Tony or
Teddy.
Teddy? They're gonna give the Teddy Lobo. They're gonna
Look a
give
little
him.
look a little familiar, and then he like snorts
Yeah,
like a centipede. I
but
like
see,
that.
I knew they're gonna make him a Renfield, but then I know they're gonna make all of them. That's when I was like, oh,
Right.
that's better, because it's obvious that they're doing that.
Hmm.
But I was dude. This movie, it was a good movie.
No,
I had I
I
bought it. I bought it because it was I wanted to go watch it at the theater, and I went too late and they changed it. It wasn't theater, So then I saw it was for rent for it was buy it for $24.99, rent it for $19.99, and then this morning I purchased it. Like right, I woke up, I wake up early, so I
Oh,
was like,
you
I'll watch
did?
it.
Oh no, it was on Peacock.
Oh well, I'm okay that I bought it.
I
I
know
didn't
you're
know.
okay, but I saw it on Friday. I was like, oh, Renfield.
Oh, see, I
Like,
didn't even know. I no, I put it. It doesn't even give me the option anymore. IMDb doesn't. You have to go and look, search them.
Roku. Do you have a Roku?
Yeah, I do.
You
So
search it on there if you
once
can.
again, yeah,
But
you're
even
right.
then, I think the Roku hasn't updated yet to where it was. I looked and looked on Roku, and it
Uh,
didn't even have that update yet. So
the cool. So Renfield's. This is like has that Fight Club vibe where you go to like you're going to a support group. Now everybody, I'll be a little preachy maybe. These are good for you. If you've ever been interested, I would say go to them. I've evolved my version of support group is no longer about me. What do I need? Well, how do I fix this? How can I fix you? What do you need? It's not. No, I've changed it into movies. I've changed it into doing things like this. I've changed it into comic conventions. I've changed it into doing more like practicing acting. There's other things I do now that are I have my communities. I have work at the theater. I do what I can to find my support, but not on other people. But it's always good to have an awareness. Like the Kyle thing was funny. Like that
yeah,
shit is funny. The shitty boyfriend Mitch that's into ska music.
yeah.
Like it's not
Ska's not
ska.
dead.
It's not dead. Yeah.
Fuck.
So, but even like they send like a brutal killer, like and then Renfield just knocks his head off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
and you know what I would have enjoyed a little bit more too. Like I like that they had those running jokes, but if they had kept it going through the movie, I would have enjoyed that even more. Like I feel like that this movie was it had a good pace at the beginning. I feel like they were like, yeah, this is where we're going, and then it I do feel like it lost a little steam towards the end.
I don't know,
I
dude.
I mean, the message was still there. The message was
Yeah.
there and everything, but just hitting the like you were saying, I feel like they could have hit the beats a little bit better. Or hit those jokes that the ska joke. I mean, that was hilarious.
Yeah, dude.
You
No,
know,
there's
and
there's
you don't want to beat a dead horse till, but I mean, if they had come back a little bit later and they had like some ska or
or
something like
maybe
that.
Kyle was listening to ska or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, some
exactly.
shit
Like
like that.
something
I get
like
what you're
that. Like
saying.
that. Like those are opportunities that I feel like, damn, they could have got like one more out of that. They definitely got they
Maybe
got
they
enough
did, or
out of
maybe they
Kyle.
pulled it out. Maybe they did do it, and then they were like,
Yeah.
nah. Because I will say, I was gonna say the story is great. The script is this is well written, well
Hmm.
said, well acted. This is a good movie, dude. This is. I'm gonna say this is a. I'm gonna already go my guess. This is gonna be a Ben 8 ish maybe territory.
Hmm.
Just something like the guess, and this would be like a CG 13. CG 13.
Ah,
But I'll tell you this: in the reality between the Ben and the CJ, this is still at least a 10 for
yeah.
as when I'm doing that.
We're
If we're doing
gonna
like
do a median.
a medium thing, because I would totally like I got a lot of this references. There's a lot of little Easter eggs in here, but it's also like think of these characters how they kind of meet, and there's even a point they're like, how did you guys meet? Oh, we're in a support group because of
Mhm.
Mitch. It's like they keep bringing up characters, and it's just like, oh, this is why the story gets
Yeah.
intertwined like this.
And yep, and you see the connection of like you know what is it, Quincy, Rebecca Quincy.
Yeah,
You see how she gets mixed up in it, and you see how she sees Renfield, and like the if she had just left it alone, none of this would have happened. Like if she hadn't just kept going and trying to get Teddy Lobo and all this and trying to bring them down, yeah, she wouldn't have never met Renfield. She would have never gone to this and all that other stuff. Like,
I
so
I like the fact that they poked at that shit that's like super obvious, and they're like,
mhm.
well, he didn't break the law. We didn't. It's like it's so super obvious. He's running with
Oh,
drugs,
yeah,
and like it's like San Francisco or something. Like
yeah.
we're not, or I guess New Orleans too.
Well,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, if you have enough influence, man. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you do.
Yeah, dude. At this point in life, like now, it's like we're just going through the simulation, and you're just kind
Yeah.
of like,
Well,
yes,
and
I said it's a simulation.
that's I think that's the Renfield kind of gives Dracula that realization of like, you're right. This world is terrible, and all this other
Yeah, you can
stuff.
take.
Like
Yeah, you can
people,
take it.
I can take it over. Like I can make people bend to my will, and I can be the Lord of Darkness and everything like that. So the question I asked you earlier, like how long in between um, the beginning scene to whenever we start in present day in New Orleans,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it was like 50 years.
yeah,
I'm gonna say that's because yeah, they have a pile of bodies in New Orleans, but I don't think they were like they had to relocate to New Orleans
yeah.
after this, and he had to, regenerate, do all this stuff. Um, so I did like the aspect too that he's going to that support group. He's like, "That's so weird. You phrased it like that, but yeah, he can't get back to full power." You
Yeah.
know,
But
and
he's trying to
then
figure it out because he feels like I feel like he's not updated. He starts upgrading.
mhm.
He starts changing clothes.
Well,
He starts
and
educating
and
himself.
he's like, okay, like I can live my life. Like if I don't give any energy to this, then
It's
I'm
it's
good.
it's hard though, man. Other people say just stop it. Like that was one of the first things. Like stop talking. I'm like I feel like Stockholm syndrome. It's like I feel like I know how to fix them and they just won't listen. The whole part we were saying about listening, the scene where he is, it's like it's so meta too or so modern, where he's reading the self help book to Dracula to help himself. Like that's where like, people would read the Bible or try to read something, and it's like that's funny when he flips it over and it says the church. He's like, ah, like it
Yeah.
pisses him off, because who sent you, the church people. Like
Hmm.
that's even funny. Like they follow the rules. You can't let Dracula in. They don't ever talk about it, but you
He
can't
says
invite him. And
welcome in and
yeah,
stuff
and
like
he goes
that.
shit.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I was like, how do you get into the house? And they cover these little things.
Huh?
That was a good point. Like that's like he's trying to find like he's trying to like that. It's just weird. And like I saw that scene where Dracula goes and kills a support group. Like in real life, if you want to take it like that, like if that person you have in your life, when you bring them around like a party or you bring them around someone and they start attacking your friends, not killing them or hurting them, but like just like talking down to them or like just starting to start problems, like it'll miss the flow of your day or miss the flow of your group, and it's you're trying to
Yep.
be like, this is a family member of mine, but okay. But you know what I mean? Like I'm looking at this movie and I'm looking at it like, how do you like he wants to be free because it's not a like, and also like Rebecca Quincy's not a love interest. She's more of a friend. Like he saw her step up to Teddy. Was it Teddy she stepped up to? No, the other
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, and she wasn't
Oh, that's
afraid to
right.
die, and I
Yeah.
think that's Renfield's thing too. Is like he's afraid
Well, also
of
they
death
did.
to an
He
to
Dracula
to an extent.
does does talk about the obvious. You left your wife and your kid, and he holds it against him.
Hmm.
That's it. And then I mean, I just see that scene where Dracula was like, "Help me," and then he helps him. He's like, I'm back." It's like
Yeah.
he's like, now I can do what I want. It's like,
Well, it's
oh, but I
just
need
like a
help.
master manipulator. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
manipulating people and manipulating feelings, and and also, I feel like Dracula is also going to have a little bit more of a otherworldly. Um, he can like entrance people and stuff like that, and like
They
make
didn't even
them.
show that. Yeah, they didn't even
No, they
show that at
didn't.
all.
They didn't. Well, they did have that scene where his eyes were like,
Yeah.
like that Bela Lugosi scene where that's going on. But I think it's very interesting. Like Renfield, like you said, he's even admitting he's like, well, I gave up. And it's funny too that it kind of relates back to unbearable weight. Like Renfield is almost like Nick Cage going through that therapy,
Yeah.
and being like, well, I wanted this stuff. I wanted to have the nice things and I did want to provide for my family, but it's stuff that I was willing to give up my family because I wanted to make their lives better.
I don't know. It doesn't really work like that. In a sense, and in my opinion, I'm like, you're gonna spend time working, and then the other half you're gonna spend time with downtime with family. I don't, because he's an like in Verbal Weight, he's an actor,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like you're actually gonna be away because you have to be away. Filmmaking silence. It needs silence. It needs to be isolated. The Renfield Dracula, like he's just, it's a narcissistic. They tell you right away he's a narcissistic, and
Yeah.
he's just like, he is about me, me, me. It's like it's a relationship. So you can be like, that can be a husband, he can be a wife,
Well,
he can be a brother or sister, he can be a father or mother. Like you can sub that Dracula character for so many different things, and all this. That's what the whole codependency thing is like. You're codependent because you keep giving in to him. You keep
mhm.
going back to Dracula. Why? It's like you can do that. Like, I mean, guys do it with girls, girls do it with guys, like or if like people, like you get older and you have kids and it's just like, how do you leave this person? I don't want to leave them. Well, what's going on? They weren't that person they were when I met them. Now they're different, and sometimes it works different. Sometimes you met a person that that you were in a low point and they're in a low point and they start accelerating and you don't want to accelerate, so you want to bring them back down. Change
Mhm.
is different, my friend. Changes, the people don't like it, and that's what I've
Yeah.
learned about almost 40 years of walking on this world, and I'm learning that people do not like change,
No,
and it's only after the
it's
change happens.
uncomfortable, man.
Yeah,
Change is it's like going through it's like a caterpillar changing into a butterfly, man.
exactly. So
and
now,
and it's not an easy process and nobody enjoys it, and but you come out the other side a little bit more beautiful.
and thank you for saying that because that's what the character Nick Cage has to go through. He's got to go through change every time. It's not just like, and also you can't just leave that shit. It follows you. You know, you train
Yeah.
a certain way. You're only doing temporary. But I love that you brought that up. I forgot. Like the CIA, they mess up all the time. Like we do our job. Like not everybody does their job thorough. Not everybody does their job good. I
No.
mean, Rebecca Quincy's basically just their answers are they're breaking the call, and then and she's like, "Shut
She's
up, cop!"
she's
And
she's doing her job to the best of her ability.
what,
Like
what,
she's trying to
that's
work
what,
against a system that
well,
is
dude.
obviously
She doesn't even have to
not
try
going to
that.
work with her.
That's what I'm trying. She doesn't even have to try that hard. It's so obvious. That's right in
Yeah.
front of her. Like, she's just like, I can't win. So it's like to me, it's like feels like in both those scenarios. One, the Nick Cage
But
character is
and
stuck. And,
yeah, and I think that that role of Quincy too is an inspiration for Renfield because she is stuck, but she's not gonna just roll over. Whereas
that's true.
Renfield
I didn't even
did,
think about her being
you know,
stuck because she's
like
constantly on the go.
she's stuck in because she wants to avenge her father, right? And she also wants to follow in his footsteps. I mean, obviously, the sister is FBI, and she did the same thing. She just took a little bit different route, right? But she's stuck in a different way. Mentally, she's mentally stuck because she can't get over the fact like she's so stuck on like she's not going to play by the rules, right? She won't go with the flow enough to get what she needs, and that's admirable to Renfield. You know, she's not gonna go to Dracula because she wants to sell a big house. No, no, no. She's gonna stay where she's at, and she's gonna fight and try to make the system better. And that's not always the best course, but that's the one that she's willing to die for. So I think it's admirable. And honestly, man, it's crazy that she wasn't shut up longer or more
Well,
or earlier
dude,
than that.
who's her partner in the movie? Because like that
Oh,
is he
dude,
repeat
he's
offender?
like he has to be, man. He's a character actor.
Character
Yeah.
actor, dude. I gotta give him a little bit of shout out. I'm actually reading over the Renfield because we're getting closer to the end of the show.
Yeah.
So Captain Nemo, Superman, and Dracula were the three roles Nicolas Cage dreamed of playing when he was started his acting career. He was cast as Superman in Tim Burton's Superman Lives, but the
Mhm.
project was canceled. He did end up voicing Superman in Teen Titans Go, the movie 2018. So I mean, he still got there, right?
Yep.
Dude, this like you know there's so many different. I mean, I think of Renfield from Dracula Dead and Loving It as a buffoon, as a they always
Mhm.
make a Renfield even in Young Frankenstein. They make him feel like he's like a klutz.
Mhm.
He's just a goofy goofball. But in this one, he's a tortured soul. He's just doing. I mean, he's lost everything. He's out of time frame. He's out of his generation, out of his decades, and he's also out of he's in New Orleans. And then also the birth, like if he does heal so slow, Dracula, and also maybe Renfield's not really finding him things because remember, like he heals super fast when he takes him to the support group because finally you did something for me. You did good people. It's like, yeah, I need that. Like
Mhm.
it's harder to kill a good person than a bad person, and that's another thing I picked up. But like, oh man, it's modern time movie. The gore is a little too much, but it's okay. I like it that they went with it that where if it would have been like real prosthetic blood and all that stuff, I would have been like, a little bit. I would have been like too much. But even the house, like I'm over here, even in the house where the Lobos live, is all obnoxious.
Mhm.
He's passing out.
All the
Teddy's passing out.
gold and everything.
He's passing out coke like it's like nothing. And then
Mhm.
it's also like they do it well. You don't have to like. They have like the guy in charge, the older dude is in charge, but now he's like all serious. Like in order to run an establishment, you have to have somebody that's serious. Like they're torture people. They have
Mhm.
all this stuff around. The mother, she's in charge of everything. So it's got layers to this. It's definitely a monster movie, but it's also more of a like I guess like a crime movie, a cop
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's got a few things. What is it under the IMDb real quick?
I'm
Let me
going to
pull it up.
say it's going to be a crime, it's going to be a horror, it's going to be comedy.
I got those. Nicholas Holt played Nicolas Cage's son in The Weatherman. Holt named Cage as an inspiration for different roles.
Yeah. And they're both named Nicholas.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where that came from. Rebecca Quincy, and then you get an Asian character. I mean, that's what we're at now, right? You're gonna get a
Yeah.
guy named a guy named Mark Powers, and it's gonna be C.J. Robles. It's like, what is this brown guy doing here? Rebecca Quincy's name is an echo of the only American character in the original Dracula novel, Quincy P. Morris. But that's probably a dude.
Oh, that was
Uh,
the dad's name. Morris Quincy.
Morris Quincy. So
I think it was
look at that.
Morris P. Quincy.
See, like I'm telling you, there's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie about Dracula that are funny.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think I mean, also just the mother brains, and then it's a little boy. Like that's another thing. Teddy's also a little boy that got caught up in all this bullshit. Look at the way he was. Look at the way he was raised, and so now he's like an over exaggerated version of them because he's been around all the deaths, but he's never done it. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like C.J. Robles being around a bunch of stand up comedy. Does it till he gets on stage, you realize he's not that funny, but he's got to work at it, right? Something like that because he gets called out of it. You probably get somebody else to shoot. And the scene where they're getting killed, the guy he takes that one guy to go kill those three dudes. He's in the car, and he's doing all this crazy shit. Like I don't know, it's insane how like that even that character, if you really focus on how they got to where they got and what it's like, you give someone ultimate power, you give a little boy a gun and or whatever
Mm-hmm.
money, and with no guidance and no, they're gonna become this adult, man or whatever it is. But I just see the Renfield character all painful he is, also like it's so over here when he's at the bar, and it's just like the
You see
nuns,
the nuns
the
and the
school
cheerleaders.
teachers, like he actually what he
Uh-huh.
specifically wants,
Yeah.
like dude, this is such a great movie. I hear my guy already getting tired. I just got yelling already, so we're gonna have to kind of cut it in a minute. Talking about parenting, we started. It took us an hour to get the show going because I was having issue with my internet, so we've already been here for good more than 2 hours. So I don't want to take any more of Ben's time. But let's rate these suckers because I mean honestly, Renfield from just hand in hand from watching it. If you're I'm outside. If you're like a Cage lover, if you're just it's a good movie. You're right. I think he steals a show in it
Yeah.
because every time he's in it, you're like, what is he doing now? And it's all the character development that he does. But also like the characters are in it. All the Easter eggs are good. The story's well written. Um, yeah, let's go to it. Let's see what the IMDb has for Unbearable Weight. Oh, I need to go watch
It's
Spider
gonna
Man.
be. I'm gonna say it's 8.5.
Ooh, it's a 7 out of 125,000
Ooh.
cast. Not bad. So it got 7. What has it got on the Rotten Tomatoes?
One second. I pulled up Renfield first.
Oh, let's go Renfield then. Let's see
No, no,
what
no,
the.
no. I got it right here. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent has an 87% certified fresh on the tomato meters score with 309 reviews and an 87% audience score with 100 plus verified ratings. Critics' consensus says smart, funny, and wildly creative. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent presents Nicolas Cage in peak gonzo form. I like that. And he is matched by Pedro Pascal's scene stealing performance. Agreed. Yeah, that's a very good review, actually. I like that a lot.
Dude,
Um,
because of that remark, real quick, I kind of think that it should have been Johnny Depp and Nick Cage in Fear and
if
Loathing.
yeah, if
That
yeah, that would have. You're saying Johnny Depp could have played Nick Cage
no, no,
in
no.
this movie?
Oh shit. Ah, I figured it out. You're right. I
Yeah.
would have liked that.
Hmm.
I would have. Oh my! How did I do that? You brought me here, Ben.
Yeah.
You brought.
And then audience says with some terrific performances and a lot of meta laughs, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is a great time for Nicolas Cage fans. Agreed. Um, but yeah, no, yeah, Pedro Pascal. I mean, hell, even TikTok, man. I mean, this movie was
They've been
memed
making
pretty
fun
good.
because on the LSD they
Yeah,
see
when
like
they're he's like, yeah. I love it. I love every
it's like
minute
it
of it.
is funny. Like some people always want to say I want to like some people would probably say like I want to smoke a joint with Joe Rogan, like or Elon Musk, or do something, or I want to do like the hot wings or something, But
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think that'd be a good thing after like I want to do LSD with my favorite celebrity because I just be tripping balls with my favorite celebrity, not in a good way. Like, I'd be like "Ugh."
They're trying
but
to climb over the wall. He
no,
just
but
walks
that's so.
around.
See, I love that, and that's what it takes, man. I feel like I'm.
But
There's a movie.
it's like they're acting. It's like they're acting for nobody. Like they
Yes,
have
exactly.
scenes in the movie, and they're just like, it's Javi's almost like
Fan film in his head,
fan film in his hand exactly. And
but
they even talk about that as like, oh, the third act has a kidnapper. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? And it bring like
they're talking about what's
I,
happening in the movie,
yeah, and I love that even Nicolas Cage is like, oh, Javi's gonna catch on.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he knows
and
that
he
he's gonna
does.
catch, and he does. Yeah. So
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing that you love so much because it makes it seem Javi's the drug dealer. He's not. And
mm,
there's a lot of manipulation in this movie. That's why I'll give it 2 ratings. I'll give it the fanboy CG-13 approved,
yep.
but also as just a lover of movies, and if you're just gonna go watch a movie and watch it, this is a 12, 13. Like,
Yeah, this is a 13 all the
yeah, it's a
way.
13. Yeah.
A movie about a an actor where he plays himself, and it's an over exaggeration. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
13.
it's a 13.
Even if you don't really know Nick Cage all that well,
You're
like,
gonna learn.
yep,
You're gonna be able to learn from it. You'll be able to go. If you just watch this movie, start off here, then you'll be able to watch the other ones, and you'll be like, "Whoa,
yep.
oh." I mean, yeah, he's done so much. What do we got for Renfield?
You go
Oh,
first.
my score. We have a score. Oh no, wait. Renfield is
The IMDb.
yeah, yeah. IMDb. Sorry, six
Negative.
point four out of 10 with 44,000 votes. That's not good.
Nah, so I have 58% on the tomato meter score out of 276 reviews and a 79% audience score out of 100 or 1,000 plus verified ratings. Says although it fails to take full advantage of the committed stars and killer premise, Renfield's batty horror comedy blend sinks in just enough to leave an impression. Audience says you'll enjoy Renfield more if you're ready for a lot of campy humor. But why else would you be watching a Nicolas Cage vampire movie?
Campy humor means you have to wait for it, right? Is that what that means?
Um,
What is? Why do they say that? Campy humor? Because I feel like campy means to wait, and you're just waiting for the humor to come,
no, I think campy is more like
or like the
kind of like
fun.
tongue in cheek, kind of
Well, I'm just saying, why would you?
like
Well, like, because it also campy would be like, because the only other thing I would think of is like a campfire, and you're
yeah,
around telling a story. But I don't think that goes. I mean, that's too
yeah,
much of a thought
mm,
process to get there.
yeah. That may be it. I don't know.
But I kind of already gave.
I know whenever I describe something as campy, I know what I'm talking about. That's the only thing I know. I couldn't tell you what it means, but I
Okay,
know what I'm talking
I'll
about.
tell you. I'll tell you. For my score, like I said earlier, man, like it's a 13. Like as a CJ fan movie, like this is a good movie. Like, but in reality, I'll definitely give it an 11 because of the blood and CGI and all that. Remember, this is spoilers, so you guys, if you're watching this show, you should know. You don't want to, yeah. But I'll definitely give it like a solid. I'll give it an 11 because I know a lot about Dracula. I love like, and that's the thing about Javi. It has that fan movie. That's how movies are made. You go through an experience and you write about it. You know.
Hmm.
And that's why I got kind of a little emotional on this one because it really like that's the point of you. That's why I said if you don't learn, if you don't learn, if it doesn't make you feel or if it doesn't make you think, you know your movies. Those are my big three. But sometimes you watch a movie just to watch a movie. But I can't have that mindset with all the movies. You know,
No,
there's a reason why they exist.
and especially a movie like this, like it has to, it helps to have a
It
deeper
and what
meaning and connection and stuff. Because Dracula's been told so many times.
exactly. And also the thing about it is I went to those Al-Anon classes in 2005, 2006. There's 2023. That was 17 years ago. So in my head, I'm like, it's good to see that they're still doing support. It's still good, you know. Like I'm like, all right, cool. Like I haven't been there that long, but
Yeah.
that was years ago. But it helped me maybe building blocks or something. Yeah, I've been stepping on my cord. I don't know if my audio's coming in or
No,
coming
no,
out.
you're good, you're good.
Oh, maybe I'm saying I
Um,
don't know if it's coming in good. Like I know it's
oh,
coming in, but I don't know if it's coming in good.
um, but yeah, man. So listen, I have been watching. I think we've come to a close on our Nicolas Cage, our first Nicolas Cage encounter.
Took a minute, but we're finally. It was a good
Took
one. It was a
took
good one. It was
it
a good
was a
one. It,
good
it
one.
was worth the wait.
It was very good, very good. And I'm going to throw something out to you. Don't know
But
if you're
first, I
gonna.
need a score, sir. I
Nine,
give it. You give it a
a
nine.
nine.
All
Yeah,
right.
give it a nine.
All
Give
right. I
Renfield a
got a
nine.
score. Punch it in.
Um,
Where are we going? Because
there it is.
I wanted to go somewhere, but because of these movies, I know we can go somewhere else. But
I want to go somewhere totally different. I want to go
where
to another world,
where
bro.
are we going?
We're going to Pandora.
Pandora. We go. Wait, Avatar.
Yeah.
I don't got 3 days to watch this movie. it's
Bro,
a, it's on,
have you seen the new one?
it's on Disney Plus, right?
And it's on HBO. Both
I
of
haven't
them.
seen it. No, I haven't seen it. We got to watch the first one. Hey, that's okay. Well, we are going in the future, so I
I
am.
mean,
The only thing I was gonna bring up was I was like, he hasn't seen these movies, and maybe he hasn't, but I think he needs to rewatch these ones. We're gonna have to find a time for classics. I don't mind watching Avatar. It just came out. We could watch it, but I was gonna see full RoboCop 1 and RoboCop 2. I was like, you need to watch these.
I've seen them. Yeah.
You see this? So I was like, we could talk
Yeah.
about those because those are kind of like, I don't know. I heard a comedian years ago say, "Who would have known that RoboCop would have predicted the state of Detroit in the future?" But I bring those up because they're sci-fi, futuristic from now. See how much they got right. But at the same time,
Yeah.
because of watching this, I was gonna say let's watch Dracula, Dead and Loving It, or something. We got to get to Nelsie Nielsen. That's what I was saying. Or I saw the Naked Guns the other day, and I was like, God, I can't just watch the first one. I gotta
Yeah,
watch all
man.
of them. But I would totally love to do the Avatar. I will do that because
And listen, whenever I watch Avatar, the first thing that comes to my mind is Bobby Lee. All right. It's the
the
first thing.
comedian.
Yeah.
Why is that?
From Harold and Kumar. Um,
Why is he
whenever
popping?
because in the third one, he he gets Harold a new TV, 3D TV. He's like, it makes Avatar look avatarded, and I love it. I love that, dude.
Oh my god! It took what 10 years to make the second one. How long did it take?
11, yeah, yeah,
11
because
years. Yeah.
2009, and we got it in 2022.
All right, we'll see. Because I saw the other one and I we'll see where we
Listen,
go. All
I
right.
know, I know, I know. This is like a full 8 hours essentially.
Yeah,
But
you made me. And I'm not you making, but we watched. We went through Wyatt Earp and Tombstone together, and that was what 6 hours or something. Then and we've
yeah,
seen Casino
hmm
and
and
Goodfellas,
Goodfellas.
and that was that was like 5.5 hours. So we're going there again. We're putting the work. I didn't build this thing so we could freaking not talk about
Bro,
it.
I'm telling you, I held off on seeing this movie because I would ask people who went and saw Avatar, the Way of Water. I would ask them, "Hey, how is it?" You know, and this is pretty much across the board. Okay, I would say they would say it was amazing. I loved it. The visuals were great. Everything like go see it on the biggest screen you can. Da 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 da. And I was like, all right, well, how's the story? They're like, it's the same story.
Exactly.
And they were wrong. It's not. It is, but it's not.
Are
It's
you
a
talking about from the first one to the second movie?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, I haven't heard anything about the second one.
yeah. No, no, no.
I haven't looked it up. The first one, well, the first movie, I'll say, I don't want to ruin it already, but let's just say I was visually pleased.
Yes.
But
Oh no.
story wise,
Story
I
wise,
was
but
hungry.
see, it makes up for it in that just like epic, storytelling. Like honestly though, like Avatar, as far as storytelling goes, it's a story you've seen,
Yeah,
but they do it in a way that is it's captivating. I got to give it to them. I will.
but I gotta tell you, dude, you need the damn theater.
You
You need the experience for this
you
movie to get
do, yeah, but we
What was
gotta
that? I don't want to talk too much.
we got a 70-inch, bro. It's like we're in theater.
Avatar 2009 PG-13 2 hours and 42 minutes action adventure fantasy. A paraplegic marine dispatched to the moon Pandora on a unique mission becomes torn between following his orders and protecting the world he feels he is his home.
Mhm.
Director is Jim Cameron. Writer is James Cameron. Stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, and Sigourney Weaver. Now we're gonna compare that to Avatar: The Way of the Water. That already sounds. Uh, 2022 PG-13, 3 hours 12 minutes. Action adventure fantasy. Jake Sully lives with his newfound family formed on the extrasolar moon Pandora. Once a familiar threat returns to finish what it was previously started, Jake must work with Naitari and the army of Navi race to protect their home. Director Jim Cameron. Writers James Cameron, Rick Hoffa, and Amanda Silver. Stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver. So this is literally the same movie, Ben.
Yeah, yeah. It's literally the same movie, but it's in the water. It's great.
All right, we'll take it.
No,
Let's take it
no,
up.
no, no. It really whenever they said that, I was like, okay, cool. Like it's the same premise, but it really is. It's a continuation. I
Let's
mean, obviously a continuation of the story, but I feel like it is done very well.
well, all
Like,
right. Let's get in on
yeah,
this. Let's crack it. I want to see because I do want to. I saw it right now when I turned on the TV for Max. I saw Disney Plus and it said because I
mhm,
put up on for him while we're doing this,
yeah,
and I saw what do you call it? I saw the Avatar. I was like, it's on Disney. Oh, okay, cool. And then I
yeah,
didn't. You were like, I knew exactly where you're going with that.
yeah.
I mean, my brother's in there with him, so I'll
Yes.
go get those guys some attention.
All
Yeah,
right, man.
it's also like, and I think that's what it is. Like I don't mean to be the leader. I'm just the oldest of my kin,
Mhm.
and as I'm the one who has a kid first, and I'm older. I'm just figuring things out. So I think that's what it is. I think from what we get from these movies, it's just the time spent with people. I feel
Mhm.
like in massive talent, you try to please other people and yourself at the same time. Where Renfield is trying to figure out how do I fix myself. I like Renfield as a learning guide to self care and understanding. They didn't joke around about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they drove, like I had to talk to people, comedians last night about improv and they get it, but they're like, there's all these classes and stuff about it, and I'm like, oh no, improv's super simple. That's where you and I met.
Mhm.
But whenever you see like a Modern Family that make fun of the improv actors, or whenever they make fun of them really bad, like they're annoying, and I'm like, why? Why is that the representation of an improv actor? That's
Yeah.
annoying. Like that's not even right. But they'd always do something like that, and I just think about it like what do you call it? Like you know,
'Cause they probably ran into some annoying improv actors,
probably
and
yeah,
that's
and they
why.
probably wrote of that shit. Also too, yeah, and that's true. We probably do come off as that.
Yeah.
Also, but not as bad.
No, no, no,
But
no.
but
See,
I get I see what's up.
it's like anything. There's some people that just take it too seriously, and there's some people that have fun with it.
And that's when I'm like, well, at this point, I'm a filmmaker. I don't do what they do. And then when filmmakers start doing crazy shit, at this point, I'm an actor. And then, oh, I'm not an actor anymore. I'm an graphic designer, and that's what I do.
Whenever you become too serious about improv, I feel like you lose a little bit
You
of it.
do, and I think the thing about what I always say the best advice I'd give for improv, if you want to take advice from me, just bullshit. It's like
Yeah.
the best joke around.
Don't take everything so seriously. If comedy and improvisation, I think, and it's meant to push boundaries. It's meant to make you think, and it's not necessarily that jokes are bad or jokes are trying to hurt people. It's all about delivery. It
Yeah,
really is. It's about how you deliver that joke and how you portray people. With improv, you can get in trouble real quick because if you're just like thinking on the spot and something
yeah,
stupid comes in your head, like you could get yourself into trouble. And with comedy, it's a little bit more nuanced. Like you have to play with the joke or with stand up, excuse me. You have to play with the joke and you have to make sure it's hitting right, and then it morphs and it turns into something that
yeah,
is
dude.
you know
I'm
is
I-
good.
I'm reading an improv book right now, and it's got so much good information. But one of the things is like you don't try to be funny. It's like
No,
you look back at it, and you're like, oh shit, that was funny. And I think that's why this show works really well for you and I because dude, when I was on stage with you, like it's so fun. Like,
but
cause
we weren't trying to be fun. We were just we were
yeah,
we were being present.
and even
And
know what
that's
even like yeah exactly, and we were learning. So even what I know now about improv, I was like, dude, Ben and I were doing it, figuring it out on our own. Because
mhm.
there's certain things we would do, certain practices. That I'm talking about where you just kind of you're the person kind of still trying to figure it out, and they're standoff and they don't want to do it, or they don't know what they're doing, go too far. Ben and I would just. Let's go here. Let's do this. Oh, you're doing this. I'm gonna. It's like the energy matching was great. You see it on the show. You see the way
Yeah.
we are. I mean, also we've been putting in so much time. Did we start in 2020? I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure out.
2020, August 2020.
2020, right? So check
Coming
this
up
out.
on 3 years.
I saw something pop up on me. Yeah, exactly. Congrats, brother.
Yeah.
But we're also getting like I mean, you've moved from Austin, and
Yeah.
I'm still here. I have a kid now. It's like
Mhm.
like when we first
I'm
met.
I'm married.
Yeah, dude.
Like
Like things exactly. Like we changed. Like things like, and it's. I think this is what a good point about this show. I guess this is the last 5 minutes of lovey dovey you get to get from us because I don't get to see Ben a lot. This is the only time we get to see
yeah.
him, and we get to talk a little bit before and a little bit after. And but it's
But I
all
feel I feel like we do have that relationship that Nick Cage was talking about with Pedro Pascal is like I feel like you're a friend that I could just pick up wherever we left off,
think that's
and
yeah
not miss a beat. And um I think that's a fun friendship to have because you you want to catch up and you want to see how everybody's doing and everything like that, but you can also just like, okay, here we're just jumping right into it, like you have those shared common interests and everything, and that's what really kind of brings you together. And
yeah
I think that's another reason why this podcast works so well is because we are both of us are very passionate about movies, and you more so about making the movies than me. I want to I don't even know, man. Like I tell
no
myself I want to get in there, but dude, you're out there doing it.
it's
And you know oddly enough, I so at work we have a new person that's working with us in our department, and he is actually a filmmaker as well,
cool.
oddly enough. Yeah, and
We
he
all network, dude.
yep, and he yep. So it's he made a movie recently and all
Well,
that
dude,
good stuff.
I gotta say, man, it's what 2020 reset me. So it was
Yeah.
like everything I made prior to that was in my past, and everything I've been doing now because I haven't really made a movie. Like I'm trying to get feature, trying to do feature. But what I did is I'm doing the back end stuff and learning all that stuff. But it takes a support group, and this is the good thing. Like I didn't realize how much of a good support group I have. I have you, I have you not. What I'm trying to say is, what it does,
You have me.
what it does, it breaks my norm. Like I have to watch the movies. Like I mean, okay, I panicked. I could have done a better search, but I bought the movie.
Yeah.
But now I'm happy that I bought the movie because I have it now, and
Bro,
it's
I
one of
pay
those.
so much for streaming. I better be able to find that
Yeah,
movie. Like
exactly,
between them
dude.
all, I'm like, I better be able to find whatever movie.
And that's another thing like that. So it keeps us still in the loop that we're because I know people that don't they hate Disney now and they have children like we're never showing a Disney because they're pro this and that. And I'm like,
I don't
just
care.
show them the classics. Just
Yeah.
show them the stuff you showed. You don't have to fall in love with it, but you're limiting your child at this
Yeah.
point. I'm not saying do it if they start doing it, or if Disney really goes like completely crazy and starts doing stuff like that. Then yes, maybe. But I don't know because what it ends up happening is you kind of just end up staying. I'm gonna leave us with this. I feel you get old as soon as you stop learning or stop caring.
Hmm.
And I feel like what happens like in tag. But I feel like when people start saying, when we start hearing this conversation, when people say, especially if you love movies, because I meet a lot of people who love movies, and that's how we started. We started just
Hmm.
talking the classics, and then now we're more modern time. Like I brought up RoboCop as much as I want to, but we still need to. We're figuring out because there's a lot of cinema. That being said, when somebody says, "Oh, they don't make good movies anymore," I already realize I'm like, "Oh, I lost you."
Yeah.
You're gonna get stuck in the time because we're still looking for
You're not watching the right movies, then, bro.
oh you're not or maybe you're just not open to the new future that
Yeah.
because also like as me being myself when I write characters I would like to just write a regular character of a guy who has a regular problem finds out how to figure it out and go but they don't want to see a regular they want to see me in a sci-fi movie a horror movie they want a fantasy movie because in reality apparently people like me or you like this doesn't really exist and it's not supposed to and
Right.
we're like, this is so simple. This is what we enjoy doing. And I think it's that passion of having the movies and having people that are around us that know that we like movies. And they're like, he watches a movie, he's going to relax. He might come out a little emotional. He might be fired up. He might be sad, but it's better. And dude, I have a video. I have something I'm trying to do a video store in my house, in my backyard, try to figure this thing out. And it's one of the coolest things. I think the best thing is getting to be to share it with you,
Yeah.
getting to see the progression, showing you. I get so busy. I wish I had more time to like. I mean, I'm not gonna wish. You gotta do with the time you got. But it's like I want to send you more stuff about the progress of certain things in my life. But it just happens.
Yeah.
But like as we finish this episode, like there's always Nick Cage. If you always everybody wants to just go watch a Nick Cage movie.
Go
That would say
watch
that
Con Air, man.
go watch Con Air.
Go watch Con Air. Go watch
go watch
Face Off.
go watch It Could Happen to You.
Yeah.
That's a love
Adaptation.
if you're a writer, watch adaptation.
Mhm.
If you're dude, we could Nick Cage could just keep bringing it. If you want to be if you want to be a country badass, go watch. I mean, Aaron Rodgers did the Nick Cage. You want Cars? He's done Gone in 60 Seconds.
Mhm.
Vampire's Kiss. What do you call it?
Renfield.
Yeah, there's another one. I mean, the Weatherman's a dark little story in there too. There's like
If you
that's a
want, if you want comedy, Unbearable Weight.
yeah. Oh, dude, Matchstick Men is good for just
Hmm.
like he's done. And you think about it, he's done different genres, different production companies. Like he's doing it all. So I'll finish off with this from Side by Side Movies. Nick Cage, we appreciate all your hard work and your
Oh,
talent. And
if you ever want to come on this show, Mr. Cage, you are more than welcome.
when I
Please do. Actually, we would love to have you.
when I finish writing Side by Side the movie, I'm gonna or Side by Side's movie the movie. I'm gonna send it to him and see what we can get him in here because he'll do it right. He'll
Yeah.
do anything. But there's those sketch shows where they make fun of Nick Cage's agent is always like pissed off because he's always like, Nick, there's this movie about. They started talking about the movies he's in. He's like a lieutenant, but he's in a boat. That's not a boat. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
this is
it's
yes
fine.
to everything. You gotta have to have that yes man mentality. But well, we're signing off. Thank you for hearing us ramble for the last. Or hearing me ramble for the last 10 minutes. Go watch some movies, have some fun. We'll see y'all later.
Later on.